Am I even muted? Am I muted? Okay, we're good. We're good. Well. Let me first hold up. Let me close my window. It is hot. Hold up. First and foremost. Let me clean my glasses. Hello, what's up, guys? Hold up. Hello. Hold up. Let me click the screen for today. Okay. Well, hold up. Let me clean my glasses. They're so weird. Never. We're always here. What is going on with my glasses, man? YouTube is not updating. Everything says it's 0. I'm live, right? Yeah, I'm live. Concurrent count is 0. Chat rate 0. View 0. It's so weird. I know we're not 0. I see you guys. Hold up. Let me try refreshing it once on my end. Wait, I hit learn more. One sec. Wait, hold up. It's weird. This isn't working. Refresh. I can't see analytics. Oh, there you go. Okay, updated. All right, analytics updated. Okay, we're good. False alarm. Okay, we're good. All right, have fun time. We're locking in today, boys. Stream is down? No, imagine stream is down. Oh no, that'd be really bad. Wow, music is so loud. Why 0 people? Yeah, I don't know, man. Music is way too loud on my end. Give me a sec. This is better. Test. Check 1, 2, 3. All right, we're good. Let me try to clean my glasses one more time. If not, okay. Let's get a little bit of extra light. Beautiful. All right, take off my socks. Give me a sec. It's not boosted enough. I know. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Well, on the bright side, I'm on time for Wesley. What's up, dude? What's up, KX? Okay. Phone goes down. And now we read. Well. Wait, I can't open my bottle. Well. I can't open it up, man. My hands are way too sweaty. Oh. Well. Today, we will be finishing Volume 5. And to celebrate, we're going to drink some Saratoga water. Hold up. Sponsored, not sponsored. I was about to clean my face first thing in the morning today with this, but I was like, you know what? I gotta drink it off stream with you guys. We gotta celebrate. I'm just wondering if you want chapter ranges, as in which chapters to reach each stream starting from volume 6 onwards. You know what, love? I think that might be a good idea. This is water. Natural spring water. That being said, we got 13 chapters to read to today, boys, brothers and sisters. Boys and girls, we got a lot of reading today. I'm sorry I couldn't stream Thursday. I'm sorry I couldn't stream yesterday on Sunday. I was really tired. We did 1 hour. We lost 2 chapters. OBS was stuck blurry. OBS crashed. OBS wouldn't close. My task manager was fucked up. All my apps wouldn't open and close. It was such a cluster. Long story short, we're here. We're ready. And we're just going to jump straight into it. Tomorrow, volume 6 or 9. You know it, bro. We're going to read all of it tomorrow. You're not ready? You guys aren't ready. Well, you guys wouldn't be ready because you finished it. That being said, let's just read. If you like what you're going to see, excuse me. If you guys like what you are going to see, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And from the bottom of my heart, we hit a new milestone. 4,000 plus subscribers. Wait, I'm way off. 4,000 plus subscribers, man. That is crazy. Wait, I'm not even putting it. Thank you guys, dude. All right, man. Let's and read, man. Let's just get right into it, dude. Chapter 1138. Scholar of Yore. All right, man. Please, stream deck work when I hit pause. Fuck yeah, it worked. All right, it worked. All right, let's do timestamps. 2 hours, 18 minutes. I might take off the hat for a bit. You know, being bald is not nice, man. These hats get very itchy. They get itchy way too quickly. All right. Everything's good. Everything's updated. I need to lower the volume on my end. Hold up. I need to fucking chill. We're only like 5 minutes into the live stream. Chapter 1000. You know what? I should change the music. Let me change the music. 1 sec. Head reveal. Here we go. And it's just a shiny mushroom. Oh shit. You know what'd be funny? One day I'm gonna be wearing a bald cap. And when I take off my hat, oh no. And it's just a bald cap. That's between us. That's between you guys. Only the 20 of you guys watching right now. It's gonna be a funny moment. Let me change the music. I'm gonna change the music. This is way too hype. I need to chill. I'm getting too excited. Let's just play the playlist for now, and we're gonna take it nice and slow. Oh man. No ad. Did I miss it? Hi, I'm so sad. I'm at work right now. I'll be listening. No, it's okay, dude. Mono, thank you so much, man. No, it's okay, dude. You guys watching the VODs is enough, man. Thank you, guys. All right, we're going to do this. Drag this bad boy right here. Raise the volume so you guys can hear it. All right. Chapter 1138 is called Scholar of Yore. In the Highlands, on an altar with eyes, arms, head, and organs embedded in it, a blood-red light surged out of a tidal wave, distorting into the shape of a deformed tree. Okay? Amidst a buzzing sound, the human bones, candles, silver plates, and golden boxes trembled as though they could slice through one's spirit body. The surrounding supplicants instinctively bowed their heads and prostrated. Then they simultaneously came to a realization. It's the Berserk Sea. Oh, we just learned this. Yeah, the Berserk Sea. Isn't that part of the reveal? No. River of the Eternal Darkness Chaos Sea. Never mind. The Berserk Sea Reef Island. When he saw the ancient palace above the Great Fog and sensed the slightest tremble of the mysterious space, Klein felt that he had a deeper connection with the so-called Sephirah Castle, one that was hard to accurately grasp. At this moment, he truly felt this place was gradually belonging to him. Okay. In just a few seconds, all the abnormalities dissipated. Without a delay, Klein got the 2 marionettes, put away the items that were still of value, and destroyed the rest. He took out a paper figurine and shook it. With a smack, the sound of the paper figurine ignited with a scarlet flame, and densely illusionary wings appeared behind his back. When he saw this, Klein was stunned. He never expected that the simple paper figurine substitutes would have hints of angel's embrace. Wait, just a regular paper figurine has an angel's embrace? He then grabbed Konus and Uni, using teleport to vanish from the island informed by reefs. From the looks of it, the acting scholar Yore has 2 main directions. One is a scholar from ancient times. Come on, man, Hermes. Come on. Merlin Hermes, that's a little on the nose. One is a scholar from ancient times, and the other is a scholar who studies ancient history. That perfectly fits Merlin Hermes. Both of them are required. The first is relatively easily because the ritual itself contains the key points of making one person from ancient times. Once the advancement is successful, one can naturally act as a scholar from ancient times. The second point is extremely difficult. It will be alright in normal society, but in the world with true gods, devils, and evil existences, just gathering ancient information is a very risky matter. If I endeavored to gather true history, I might die a horrible death at any moment without any reason. The more I understand, the greater the danger. Oh man, you guys got me excited. That was 125 again. It's been a while since we had 125. The reason why I know so much is mostly thanks to the arrangements of a few existences, as well as the complicated fate the Sephirah Castle brings me. This makes me encounter all sorts of things. Of course, even so, I've already died once, despite being a true deity's blessed. What's more, other scholars of Yore. Changing the spot of Miracle Invoker and Scholar of Yore will make acting relatively simple. Unfortunately, there's no such thing. In addition, the previous 2 meetings had an inclination towards ancient times. I have to pay attention to the word of scholar. What must I figure out from history before I can be considered a scholar? Next, there are a few directions towards my digestion. First, I need to figure out Dark Angel 6 years current. Please don't skip any chapters to read off stream. I know. I feel like it's getting way too big. I know. I almost caused like 5 different crash outs yesterday. Yeah, I figured, dude. We had like the original, like the OG creator not only created the Sephirah Castle, but like 8 other entities. What was it? The Chaos River, River Eternal Darkness. All this other crazy shit happened towards the end. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be chill. We're just gonna read 5. I apologize, Oren. That's not going to happen anymore. Dark Angels is here, current state, and truly replicant of the actual process of the cataclysm. Second, I need to spend some efforts to connect the history of the 4th epoch together. I'm going to raise the volume a little bit louder. And not just be fine with having them in disconnected segments. Third, I need to go deep into the details from a microscopic view. For example, the rise and fall of the Antigonus family. Sorry, I'm not in streamer mode right now. It's going to take me like 15-20 minutes. I'll get into it. I got back here so quickly, I almost ran out of gas for you guys. I hope you know. I was like, I'm not gonna be late to stream today. I'll get gas another day. I'm like, the red light was turning on. I'm like, oh, it's like I gotta get back. I gotta go live. After confirming that prior activity was effective and considering his true path ahead of time, Klein combined the mysticism knowledge he had gained from his advancement and his observation of his godhood's divinity, and he had a trial run of his powers to slowly figure out the powers of a scholar of Yore. Worms of Spirit can be split into 600 pieces. The godhood patterns have also changed to a certain degree. It's even more complicated, and it can showcase concepts of strength, strangeness, and supernaturalness. The changes in my godhood patterns firstly originate from my newly obtained characteristics, and secondly, it comes from the mysticism knowledge contained within the potion. This is both a result of the bionic characteristic and red light, green light. Definitely we're playing red light, green light. Bionic characteristics, and also something obtained from a higher level. After becoming a true high sequence beyonder, is it possible to directly change the knowledge at a higher dimension to affect the beyonders at other sequences? Change the knowledge at a higher dimension to fuck? Deciphering a potion formula from the godhood pattern seems like an actual example. Also, at the level of sequence 3, At the level of sequence 3, the changes in godhood patterns are influenced by individuality. This is closely related to the prayers and responses from each scholar of Yore. The corresponding honorific name will be different in nature. This is because of different personalities, experiences, and traits. Yes, I can also allow different worms of spirits to instinctively listen to prayers. What? He can let the worms respond. I can allow different worms of spirit to instinctively listen to the prayers and respond to them when it's relatively uncomplicated matter. It doesn't affect my other actions, especially marked ones. Are more complicated matters will be handed over to my actual body. A scholar of Yore can use a worm of spirit to act as a god, but what about other sequence 3 beyonders from the other pathways? It's impossible for them to respond while sleeping, right? Clients a cluster of worms. That's kind of gross, man. Ew. Why just read where? One sec. I'm sorry. I'll be right back. I'm missing my stand with my book. What the fuck? Give me a sec. I swear I'm not trying to stall. What? Look at this cool little gift I got. I'm actually muted. You read so fast. What the heck? I read so fast I muted myself. Oh my goodness. All right. We're good. Oh, sorry. I couldn't find my stand. I'm like, where the hell did it go? Something obtained from a higher level after becoming a true high sequence beyond. Is it possible to directly... I just read this. Let me find my place. It's impossible for them to respond while sleeping, right? Huh. I'll think of my honorific name as a scholar of Yore later. I'll first study the specific abilities. A scholar of Yore's main ability is to obtain help from history. This is split into two parts. One is to borrow the strength from my past self. What? One is to borrow strength from my past self. This is rather embarrassing for me. It's currently useless because of the past me is definitely weaker than the present me. Yes, when I was hanging above the door of light, above the gray fog, I was just an ordinary person. For those who were important figures in the past but are now weak due to all kinds of reasons, this is a godly skill. One can be a baby crying from ice cream while engaging in a sequence 1 battle. It would be impossible to find any weaknesses. The only problem is that it's not long lasting. Of course, as more time passes after I become a scholar of Yore, this will begin to show its effects. I can often borrow strength from my past scholar of Yore self so that I wouldn't have any moment of weakness. Even if I were to suffer serious injuries to a certain extent, this is something that self-perpetuating, preventing myself from even being in a nadir until my spirituality is completely drained. Yes, before my spirituality is drained, I can always borrow energy from my past self. There's no limit to the number of times. As for my current spirituality, even without the process of recovering, I can borrow powers nearly 10 times a day, maintaining it for 5 minutes each time. So, okay, so about an hour, 50 minutes. The second part is to summon images from the historical void. It can be humans or what Zaratul did, the historical void. It can be humans or objects. The more detailed, the better the understanding I have or the corresponding piece of history and matters. The higher the chance of success is and the longer it will last. Similarly, the lower the target level it is relatively to me, the higher the chance of success and the longer it can be maintained. In addition, increasing my affinity with the target will increase the chances of success and the times it can be maintained. There are 3 conditions to succeed. Furthermore, when summoned someone of a higher level than myself or item, even if I can barely succeed, the final projection will only have a portion of my strength and quantity of the original. I can't be one who's at full strength. Also, I can only maintain 3 images summoned from the historical void at any point in time, including those summoned by my marionettes. Oh, the marionettes can also summon. I did sense the disturbance in the force. I'm like, something is different in my room. Huh, what did I do? Currently, even if it's the most ordinary item or something that was once mine, I can maintain its availability for a maximum of 15 minutes. The fact that the target has to have a close relationship with oneself is worth rumination. In essence, borrowing the power from one's own body is also a form of summoning. It's just that one's relationship with oneself is extremely close, so there's no possibility of failure. It's an extreme example. Oh my god, I cannot read. I'm too excited. It's an extreme example. In other words, if I were to summon the important figures from the historical void, it would be best to establish a friendly relationship with them and maintain it for a long time. Yes, if I were to summon Mr. Zik's projection, shut up. Wait. Oh, you can like, oh man, you can summon like the past Mr. Zik. Oh, that sounds hype. The chances of success will definitely be higher than the projecting of other angels. How is this a beyond power? This is obviously studies related to EQ relationships and interpersonal communication. As he sounded with emotion, Klein sincerely felt that the core powers of a scholar of Yore were godly. After all, that those involved in history and time were most likely extremely magical. However, in order to put it up to its fullest potential, one had to have full sufficient intelligence and also make the necessary preparations. I would not be good as a scholar of Yore. I'd literally forget all the history. Like, what was that again? This was an unchanging requirement of the seer pathway. Yes, when summoning images from the historical void, there's no way to communicate with them. That is to say that a scholar of Yore can't interfere with history and change the past. From the angle of acting, this can be summarized as the witnessing fate affecting the present and inability to reverse the past. Apart from the ability to transfer a certain part of elements, wounds, curses, attacks, prophecies, and observations to paper figurine substitutes, there's another power. It can transfer a certain part to the target before one discovers that it's fake things that can continue proceeding as per normal. If anyone meets me shortly after losing their heart while their brain remains active, I can give them a paper heart. It can beat using the strength from history and continue circulating blood. What? A paper heart and continue circulating blood. The time taken to attain initial control of spirit body threads has shortened to 2 seconds and completely transforming into a marionette takes 10 seconds. The maximum range for those two is 500 meters. By controlling a marionette, the limit of swapping potions is 5 kilometers. Flaming jump is also 5 kilometers. I can freely control the might of air cannon and its maximum might. It's equivalent to a coastal defensive cannon. Can transform into a creature into a certain difference in size and shoes. Does not exceed a certain limit. Some of the organs simulated can be used, while others can only be decorations. This is a scholar of Yore who has digested most of the potion. After examining himself, Klein slowly stood up. He planned on entering the world above the Great Fog to check the changes in the Sephirah Castle. Scholar of Yore powers are very cool. This sounds badass, dude. Timestamp, let's just go right into it. Next chapter. I know I saw you, Miller. Only 20 minutes. Hey, come on, man. It took me like 5 minutes to start streaming, then I had to step up because I couldn't find my stuff, man. I was tripping out. But look, recording is only 14 minutes. That's fast, man. And then for a 2-minute intro, I think that's a good pace. Oh, wait, hold on. Here we go. Check this out, though. We're gonna read this bitch in like 10 minutes. You ready? 10 minutes. Start now. If he reads 3 chapters and 12 chapters, level 5 hours, 4, we'll be done in 3 hours. Artwork, that should be the 5th hour. We're done. It's gonna be a 4-hour stream. In 4 hours, we're gonna be reading all the remaining 12 chapters and looking at all artwork. Mark my words, Milosh. Buckle up, people. Chapter 1139 is called A Different Form of Championship. Oh, not championship. Companionship. Above the endless grayish-white fog, Klein's figures appeared in the ancient palace. He only looked around briefly as he realized that there were a few changes. The most obvious point was that the state of the mysterious space and its layout had been fully projected into his spirit body. Even at a great distance, he can still see the grayish-white clouds and the strange door of light. Apart from the palace that I conjured and the door of light that originally existed, there's nothing here. It's empty, boundless, and full of power of a high level. As he murmured, he sat down, raised his right hand, and gently lifted it up. In a blink of an eye, the entire gray fog bowl, the mysterious space it carried, quaked as the beams of slightly dark light emitted. When the light gathered together, it condensed into a translucent angel with illusionary wings on its back. As for Klein's will, it had the same level and power as an angel. It was majestic and sacred, with an oppressive aura. There's no need to add the Black Emperor card or the Tyrant card, or you don't have to add them anymore. Or the Red Priest card. There's no need to use the Sea God Scepter either. With my power alone, I can stir most of the powers of this mysterious space to its fullest potential, allowing the fullest angel to become a true Sequence 2 angel. This is cool, dude. You're early, right? Come on, man. Of course, dude. Always, dude. Of course, this angel is unable to respond to prayers or be maintained for too long. Its only existence is to embrace, form, and within a few attacks, having some powers in the domain of miracles. A true miracle indeed, huh? Indeed, being able to revive is a gift from the Sephirah Castle. As for how many more times I can be resurrected, I can't come to a conclusion now. If I can obtain a grade 0 sealed artifact and use its level to observe it, I should be able to see it more clearly. I'll just treat it as one more time. It's not a bad thing to err while being cautious. This reminds me to be careful and more cautious. This is the way of beyonders of the sheer pathway to survive. Unfortunately, this miracle can only be used for myself for now. Yeah, at most, in order to truly possess and control this mysterious space, I have to become an angel or even a Sequence 1 angel at least. It lives up to its name as Sephirah Castle. As for the strange door of light, its requirements are even higher. It's impossible to tell if there are any hidden dangers. I'm sorry, we have more? It's impossible to tell if there are any hidden dangers at this moment. What's the meaning of the existence of the Sephirah Castle baiting? Transmigrators to revive the original creator. With a flick of his right hand, the holy and power of the angel dissipated in midair. The entire Sephirah Castle calmed down. Following that, Klein stood up and took a step towards the grayish-white cloud in midair. He stood in front of the strange door of light, formed of the countless spherical lights. The door of light was tinted in some bluish-black color. Each spherical light's essence was a transparent and translucent worm that formed into a ball. As he stared at the transparent cocoons hanging in the black threads, Klein extended his right hand and slowly reached out to the door of light in an attempt to touch it. 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches. His hand finally touched the edge of the door light, but it passed right through as if it was just an illusion. Oh, he goes right through it. However, compared to his previous attempts, the illusion door of light was clearly a little stickier, as though it was about to turn corporeal. Oh, it's almost tangible. We are going to have a 24-hour stream. I do want to do one. I'm not going to lie. I do want to have at least one 24-hour stream. I have to, like, fully prep. I don't know, man. I'll see. A weekend. I promise you guys, man. We are going to have a 24-hour stream before the ending. I promise you guys that. This is an item that represents the essence of Sephirah Castle. After pondering for a few seconds, he turned and returned to the ancient palace. Without any delay, he left the world above the great fog and began experimenting with the various powers he had just acquired. I have to first get an honorific name. The prayer response range from a Sequence 3 Beyonder is a region. This region is different depending on the authority of one's will. Maybe like around Okay, November's really far away. We should do something this month or in October. Maybe not 24 hours, but like 12 hours or something like that. Like 12 this month, 12 next month, and then like 24 hours in like November and December. I think we can do that. This range is different depending on the authority that one wields. Clearly, Sea King's range is relatively far-reaching type. Therefore, this honorific name of mine also has its limits. The protector of all the poor children in Backland. It feels odd. Yes, other people might have a limitation, but it's not necessarily the case for me. I can use the Bless of the Spur World and the Sephirah Castle as a replacement. I should be the only one who is blessed in both regions. It's unique enough. This is as long as someone in the City of Silver or Distract... Wait... This way, as long as someone is in the same city or district as me, they can use this honorific name to pray to me. There's nothing I can do if we're not in the same area. I can't possibly do the same as storing the Sea God Scepter above the Grey Fog, splitting a few worms of spirit to the world above the Grey Fog, and using Sephirah Castle level to respond throughout. Oh, I thought that's what it meant. Oh, so that's not what he can do. And you're using Sephirah Castle level to respond throughout the entire world. Although I can't confirm the relationship between Dark Angel and the ancient sun god, that is enough to remind me to be careful with my avatars and marionettes. Also, it's not as simple as splitting a few worms. A large number of worms of the spirit have to be left in Sephirah Castle to achieve the desired effects. I'm currently unable to do it. Right, my mental state isn't too bad. I don't have the dissociative disorder, nor do I have the irresistible urge to become cold and terrifying. This means that the mark of a scholar of Yore in the history is his anchor. Also, the Emperor's situation worsened only after he became an angel, causing him to have no choice but to rely on his believers as anchors to anchor him in place. I'm still one huge level away. I need to find out what else can be used as anchors, apart from believers, to ensure that nothing goes wrong. Amidst his thoughts, Klein picked up pen and paper. He has to use his siblings as an anchor. He wrote the first line of his honorific name, the Blessed of the Spirit World and Sephirah Castle. After some thought, he began writing the second and third lines based on the rich experience and knowledge he got from his godhood patterns. New honorific. The mystery stemming from ancient history. The witness of an extended history. Since a second street beyonder wasn't a true deity, he couldn't use a 3-line description. After some thought, he added 2 main lines. Protector of magic and drama performers, the Great German Sparrow. In fact, non-true deities could also use the 3-line descriptions, but one of them had to rely on the level of a true god. For example, Klein used Bless of the Evernight Goddess. Under such circumstances, it was essentially similar to the type of summoning, incantation, not an honorific name for prayer, similar to that of messengers. And if the messengers was a spirit world creature, the restriction of being blessed of a particular true deity was unnecessary. Therefore, it was often unknown what would be summoned, making it rather dangerous. After repeatedly deliberating for a while, Klein controlled his marionette Uni and recited the honorific name in ancient Hermes. After a few seconds later, Klein raised his right hand and rubbed his temples with an odd expression. He didn't hear the prayer. What's wrong with the honorific name? Klein carefully deliberated over it a few more times and gradually came up with an idea. I might not be the only blessed of the spirit world. Oh, he's not the only one. Should be in a day or two. I know. Yeah, it should be, I think, on Wednesday. I got you. Don't worry. I didn't forget your username. I know. Tomorrow's LSC, and then I'm pretty sure the RIA will be Wednesday. So we'll do the 2 chapters Wednesday. Or Tuesday. If it's Tuesday, we'll do it too. I got you. Don't worry. I didn't forget. And Sephirah Castle, the Hounds of the Fulgrim also count. I have to add a limitation. After some modifications, Uni once again recited an ancient Hermes, the Bless of the Spur World, and Sephirah Castle. The mystery stemming from ancient times, the witness of an extended history, protector of backland magic and drama performers. The Great German Sparrow. What a badass honorific, dude. I pray for your blessings. I hope that you can light up the darkness in front of me. I don't know. I'm just saying, since it was released 5 hours ago on Patreon. Oh, okay. Got it. If it comes out today and we're done, we'll make it work. Just as Uni's voice faded, Klein heard his prayer. Furthermore, it was only heard by a few worms of spirit. It didn't affect his actual body at all, so he's good. This is very different from the prayer coming from Sephirah Castle. It's very clear. With a thought, his worms of spirit gave a response based on the rules he had ahead of time. With a whoosh, a ball of fire appeared in front of Uni. It floated in midair, illuminating the entire room. Not bad. If I use Hermes to pray, I have to set up a ritual and draw symbols. As for the essential oils and herbs, it doesn't matter if they're provided or not. I, someone who will be pleased by these things. The symbols are formed from the scrolls representing history, the complete eye that represents witness, and the lines symbolizing change. For the time being, Klein had no intention of spreading his honorific name. After all, letting others know that Germansborough had reached Sequence 3 would be a case of him losing a trump card. Furthermore, he had the alternate identity as the sea god and the fool. There was no need for a new honorific name. With a snap of his fingers, he lit the paper with the honorific name of Germansborough on the table. A scholar of Yore also has the means to create a fog to lower the temperature, but it's not a core power. Next, I have to try to summon a projection from the historical void. Who shall be my first volunteer? As he muttered silently to himself, Klein suddenly sighed. He then half closed his eyes and used his godhood to allow a portion of his spirit to enter the great fog and roam amidst history. Following that, the various locations he had previously established, he instinctively arrived in front of a spot made of light. There was a spacious and bright room with 2 rows of floor-to-ceiling windows and spot of light. In a room, a man wearing a dark red coat embroidered with golden lines was standing by the window, looking at the place where the sun had set. He looked to be in his 30s with long 30s and a red cloak. He looked to be in his 30s with long chestnut, curly hair, blue eyes, high nose bridge, and thin lips. He had a neat... Roselle, I see it. He had a neat mustache and looked rather good. Roselle Gustave. All right. In a street in Northborough, a thin-faced young man with a white forehead... Oh, fuck. Wait. Now, what? Wait. And now we're cutting to him? He then closed his eyes, got on and appeared to push the spirit to enter the great fog and roam amidst the history. Wait, he sing Roselle Gustave, and then we cut straight to Amon. In a street in the Northborough, a thin-faced young man is he riding a bike again? With a wide forehead and monocle was sitting in a coffee shop at the side of the road. He held a fountain pen and thought seriously. He raised his other hand and pinched his monocle. Finally, he wrote down a sentence. The blessed of the spirit world and Sephirah Castle. I'm sorry, how the hell does he know his honorific? Another great... I'm sorry, how the fuck did he know it? Oh my... He's connected to Sephirah. Wait, no! He's part of one of the... Oh, just like how Klein has control over Sephirah Castle, Amon probably has control over one of these other things that were revealed. Chaos Sea, River of Eternal Darkness, Knowledge More, Tenebros World, Bro 5. He probably has control over one of these, and they probably have a connection to each other. Like, all 8, 9 things are connected to each other. Oh! Then the fountain pen stopped moving as if he had no thought of what to write next. In a rented 2-bedroom apartment at Eastborough, Klein took out his gold pocket watch and opened it. He had already made an appointment with Miss Sharon and Merrick to meet in an uninhabited house tonight. After some thought, he raised his right hand and grabbed it at the space in front of him. A simple, ancient brass key appeared in his palm. This was the master key that had once helped him defeat Rafe Steve and prevent the true creator from descending. Oh, the one he threw! I'm sorry, is he going to be able to summon it again? It allowed one to hear Mr. Door's ravings on the night of the full moon. Now, by summoning it back to the historical void, it can be used... Oh, what the fuck? You can use it for 10 minutes? It can be used for 10 minutes. Oh, shit, dude. To a scholar of Yore, anything that can once be... Anything that was once possessed... Anything that they once possessed, regardless if they were eventually sold, returned, destroyed, or lost all sorts of reasons, can never really be considered lost. They just exist alongside the scholar... This is such a broken-ass ability. They just exist alongside the scholar of Yore in different forms of companionship. Looking at the master key in his hand, Klein sighed in satisfaction. With this item, if he could grasp the corresponding ritual, he could directly speak to Mr. Door as well. Dude, this guy has like an ever-ending supply of shit that he can use. After putting away the master key, he put on his double-breast frock coat and silk top hat, picked up the golden cane, and walked out of the room. Next chapter, dude. We're going straight into it. Wow, I like Scholar of Yore. This shit is getting good. Is goated? This sounds fucking goated, dude. Next chapter, bro. Chapter 1140 is called Plans. Holy shit, dude. 26 minutes. Look at that. 26 minutes. Oh, shit. I put 266. 26 minutes, 43 seconds. Jump straight into it. I'm going straight into it. Fucking 11 more chapters, man. I hope you guys are ready. 11 more chapters. Ooh, it's gonna be a long stream, bros. Oh, it's gonna be a long stream. Oh, shit, man. I can't back down, man. Oh, it's gonna be a long stream. It's gonna be a long stream. I can't ruin my sleep schedule, but I gotta do it for Volume 5. Chapter 1140 is called Plans. Backland Eastborough, 7 Pinester Street. After a busy day... Fuck, we're so close. We're at 1140. 10 more to go, dude. Plans, Backland, Eastboro, 7 Pincer Street. After a busy day, Leonard finally had the chance to ask his questions. Old man, what is Sephirah Castle? I forgot he knows. What is Sephirah Castle? The slightly aged voice in his mind fell silent for a few seconds. He chuckled and said, the place where you meet every Monday is most likely Sephirah Castle. Leonard never expected to hear such an answer. His mind went blank for a moment. He was surprised, shocked, and confused, mixed together with thoughts of it being impossible for it to pop out of nowhere, and the poignant feeling of how complicated things were. After a while, he pressed in a low voice, what kind of place is Sephirah Castle? As though sighing and laughing self-deprecatingly, Palazaros said, actually, I'm not too sure. I've only ever heard some rumors. All right, tell me, dude, what you hear. It's different from the creation myth, you know. The fact that they're fucking correlated into the creation of myth, you know. Rumor has it that the original creator left behind 9 different entities. They were kingdoms, cities, rivers, oceans, and keys. Sephirah, what would a key be? They were kingdoms, cities, rivers, oceans, and keys. Sephirah Castle was, oh my god, the fucking moon is actually one of them. The red moon is one of them. Sephirah Castle was one of them. It might not actually be a castle, but something else. As for what its exact form is, you might know it better than me. The reason why I'm certain of its existence is because I sense it when I became an angel. Oh, they sense it? But I wasn't able to see it and establish a connection with it. Just like Roselle, he sensed it, but he never saw it. My great-grandfather mentioned a theory that the 9 entities might have something to do with the Sephiroth as recorded on the 2nd blasphemy slate. Unfortunately, because of various reasons, he was unable to decipher the details related to the Sephiroth. Leonard calmed down. Looking back against the sofa, he asked thoughtfully, old man, do you suspect that Mr. Fool is the embodiment of a Sephirah? Based on what he had sensed and heard from the Terror Club and old man's occasional lecture, he had a certain understanding of matters regarding the deities. After a long silence, Palazaros replied, perhaps. Under the strict curfew at night, there were almost no pedestrians on the street of Backland. Occasionally, there would be the carriages passing by, carrying people's statues. After arriving at the agreed-upon house, Clang was in a hurry to enter. He half closed his eyes, raised his right hand, and grabbed at something in front of him. He pulled out another Sherlock Moriarty, wearing a black double-breasted frock coat and silk-top hat, while holding a gold inland cane. This was the image of him from Historical Void, where he had left his residence earlier. As Clang was right in front of him, the image appeared stiff like a prop on stage. According to his previous experiments, Clang knew that this was the mysticism principle of a unique shared consciousness in... This game, big brain. Wait. A unique shared consciousness in time. It's like the fucking LCL, dude. And Evangelion, it's a unique shared consciousness, but in time. To put simply, everyone was essentially unique. If one's true body remained sentient, the projection wouldn't remain... If one's true body remains sentient, then the projection wouldn't remain sentient because the main body's sentient. Okay. It was the same when summoning the projections of the deceased from the historical void. A result... What? You can... You can summon the deceased from the historical void. Shit. There are so many implications with that ability. A result Klein suspected to be attributed to the insufficient level. In short, his projections could only engage in more mechanical and instinctive battles. Something that was unknown to the Scholar of Yore had prevented them from giving a corresponding answer even if they experienced it for themselves. This confirmation of one Klein's guesses... Oh, wait a second. Those fragments a Scholar Yore could see in the historical void was something he had learned in real life and had studied. Simply put, the fog needed a Scholar Yore to light it up bit by bit. So I'm sorry. If we summon all our fallen Nighthawks, their projections would be sentient because their true bodies aren't sentient. They're dead, right? Huh. Wow, there are so many implications with that fucking ability. Holy shit. Sarah Pathway is definition of an investment path. Definitely it's an investment. It started out very, very slow and it just fucking ramps up. It just keeps building up. Of course, Klein also suspected that if historical void fragments of the same matter had been mostly... I'm like salivating, bro. This is bad. I'm like drooling and salivating as I'm speaking. I don't know if you guys can hear my slurs. I'm too damn excited. Of course, Klein also suspected that if some historical fragments of the same matter had been mostly lit up, the rest of the world were very... And I'm being too fucking consciousness on it. I'm thinking about it too much. Very likely be presented naturally. You guys know when you see some really... Yeah, exactly. You know when you see some really good spicy food on the table and you just start salivating? That's me, bro. I'm like... I'm thinking of how the series is gonna like I'm thinking of the future chapters. And I'm getting excited. It's like when you see a bag of some spicy chips, man. You're like, oh, that look good? I'm over here like, oh, man, it's going to get really good, huh? At least the corresponding abilities wouldn't be lost just because I don't understand it well enough. As long as there's a projection of the historical void, the state will be a complete snapshot. That's enough. Klein snapped at a projection that could only act on instinct. His body suddenly vanished and entered the grayish-white fog. Since hounds of Fulgrim who weren't full scholars of Yore could live in the historical void, there was no reason that a true scholar of Yore couldn't. The only problem was that there was a time limit. In addition, if time dragged on, the marionettes in the real world would definitely die. Okay. However, this was only changing the form of companionship it had with a scholar of Yore. As Klein's body entered the grayish-white fog, his consciousness suddenly came alive in the projection. He raised his hand and pressed down on the top hat, wearing the face of Sherlock Moriarty. He came outside of the house. Following their agreement, he took out the master key and placed it against the door, turning it gently. His figure appeared in the room, and under the crimson moonlight, he quickly surveyed his surroundings. The sofas, cupboards, high-back chairs, coffee tables, and other furniture evidently old. They seemed to come from the previous century. In the dark environment, in a gothic regal dress, a matching bonnet, Sharon suddenly appeared on a high back chair. Good evening, this puppet lady nodded slightly and greeted him. If she hadn't spoken, she would be a classic and most exquisite doll. At the same time, Merrick, who was wearing a white shirt and black vest, also faced into existence on the sofa. Sir, it's already winter. Aren't you cold of wearing this? Alright, you're dead. At the same time, Merrick, who was wearing a white shirt and black vest, also faced into existence on the sofa. Sir, it's already winter. Aren't you cold of wearing this, or wearing just this? All right, you're dead. One who isn't afraid of the cold. Oh, okay. After lampooning inwardly, Klein took off his hat and bowed up, and I'm too excited, and bowed at the blonde, blue-eyed, pale-faced Sharon. I gotta read slow. I gotta chill. Good evening, Miss Sharon. He then turned around and said to Merrick, good evening. To the Rave, who was formerly a zombie, the deepest impression Klein had on him was his card game with the zombies he controlled. We should play cards when we have the time, he sighed silently. The reason why he suddenly thought of playing cards was because he had previously analyzed the combat styles of Scholar Yore, and we're using cards again, and he realized that if he were to encounter Zartul, both sides would very likely end up playing a card game. You throw a Consul result card, I'll throw an Emperor result card. You throw a Bernadette card, and I'll throw a Benyat. If you throw the half-full card, I'll match it with Amon. I didn't expect that the battle between a seer would one day become playing cards. Wow. It's a realistic abnormality harrowing game of cards. Wow. Saya Bazartul is a sequence 1 angel, and he wouldn't give me a chance to play cards. Besides, my success rate at summoning the important figures in the historical void is rather low. Klein retracted his gaze and took the initiative to say to Sharon, I recently needed to do something. It's rather difficult and dangerous. One of the steps is to collect beyond her blood from 22 different pathways. As for the Wraith pathway, the only person I can ask for your help is you and Merrick. You should be skilled at hexes, and you should have a way to remove the connection between your blood and yourself. In fact, he could have attempted to summon Admiral of Blood Center on the spot and mix his blood into the porcelain jar. However, he didn't know if it would be effective, nor could he divine it. After all, this involved a level that exceeded Sequence 1, and he lacked information. Exodia? Basically Exodia with the 22 pieces. The only thing he could confirm was that the drawing of the symbol didn't bring... Oh, you mean when they're playing Exodia? They're playing Exodia. Fucking playing Yu-Gi-Oh! The only thing he could confirm was that drawing the symbol didn't bring him into suppliers and dangers. Due to the fact that the Scholar of Yore had many means at their disposal, he had even tried to summon the former witch Trissy. He easily subdued her and smeared her blood onto Grisel's travelers. However, it was useless. How? After some thought, Klein believes that a logical contradiction on the timeline had happened, preventing his from success. The blood was formerly provided by Trissy of the past. And it was before he was a Scholar Yore. The person Grisel travels pulled into the world undoubtedly be the former Trissy, so it was equivalent to changing history. Since history couldn't be changed, the experiment failed. After listening... Change history, so you can't, because a Scholar Yore can't change history. You can only observe. Okay, I'm grasping that. After listening to Sherlock Moriarty's request quietly, Sharon said without any change of expression, okay, how much do you want? Miss Sharon's reaction is exactly as I imagined. Klein took out a glass tube, but one tube would suffice. Dressed in a gothic regal dress, Sharon raised her right hand slightly. The glass tube seemed to possess a life of its own as it left Klein's palm and flew over. Right on the heels of that, off the table, the doll-like lady's right hand landed over her wrist. Her nails suddenly grew longer and became unusually sharp. With just a light stroke, a wound opened up at her wrist. Blood seeped out, but it didn't drip down. Instead, it floated up and entered the glass tube. By the time the tube was filled, Sharon had healed instantly, leaving no scar behind. The stopper jumped into the tube and spun a few times to automatically seal the tube. During this process, the pale-faced Sharon wore an impassive expression as if she had suppressed all the feelings in her heart. Looking at the tube of blood in her hand, Sharon reached out with her left hand and touched it, slowly sliding from the top to the bottom. This was done to remove her connection to the blood. After doing all this, the tube leaped out and flew back into Klein's hands. Is there anything else I can help you with? Sharon sat on a high-backed chair and said calmly, Not for now, thank you. Klein shook his head and snapped his fingers, igniting a scarlet flame in his palm. The flame quickly rose and enveloped the glass tube. By the time the redness dissipated, the blood was gone. This was a new change in Flaming Gem. It could transfer the item on him to his marionette body. Apart from this, all sorts of beyond powers from before had been enhanced and modified. Having used his new power skillfully, he looked at Sharon and asked casually, how's the digestion of your puppet potion? I'm almost done, dude. When he first met Miss Sharon, he felt that she was like a doll. He believed that regardless of her nature or it being a result of temperance principle, it would be a form of prior acting. It would be of great help to digest the puppet potion. Not bad, Sharon replied calmly. I should be able to digest everything in another 1 to 2 years. 1 to 2 years, indeed, no matter how fast it goes, it's counted in years. But for me, it's been less than half a year. This isn't something to be proud of. It was all arranged. Of course, if you count the time I was hung above the door of light, it counted in millennia. Miracle Invoker, if I can escape this fate, I might be able to create a miracle. Is that how he digests it? If I can escape this fate, I might be able to create a miracle. Klein sighed inwardly and gently nodded. What are your plans for the time being? Sharon said, I hope to restore teacher's body. Oh, we're going to restore her body? Merrick, who was sitting on the sofa, added, but didn't you say that the leader of the secret order, Zaratul, is in Backland and is closely related to the Rose School of Thought? Yes, Klein said with a smile. Wait patiently, there will be a chance. This was actually a form of consultation. Even though he had become a scholar of Yore and had found many helpers, he had no intention of dealing with Zaratul at the most. A sequence 1 in full would definitely be unimaginably terrifying. Furthermore, the more he exposed himself to the path of Seer, the more Klein could understand how terrifying and difficult it was to kill Zaratul. After stopping George III's hypotheses, Klein planned on leaving Backland and giving himself more time to grow. All right, 1,140 Klein. 40 Klein? 1,140 Klein, guys. Oh my goodness. I'm too fucking excited, man. 39 minutes. 25 seconds. Copy paste. Sip my water. I can't open this, man. My hands are too fucking sweaty. Natural. Saratoga water. Some good stuff, man. Some good stuff, man. Some good natural water. Klein has hacks? Yeah, he has hacks on, basically. Long story short, right? All right, 10 more chapters, man. All right, 10 more chapters, man. Let's go, dude. Chapter 1141 is called Deep Winter. Sonia C. Pazu Island, Chasm of the Storm Cathedral. This was the headquarters of the Church of Lords of Storms, the holiest of holy temples, a place blessed by God. The murals that were painted in blue, I cannot read, I am too excited. And blue, silver, green, and golden colors seemed rough, but they had sacred and majestic vibe to them. Coupled with a dome that stood at the height of an excessive 100 meters, it made all who stood there feel how puny they were. It made one unable to resist bowing their head. Olger Wilson had already undergone the ritual and had to become a Sequence 5 ocean songster. At this moment, he had come here with the same batch of recently advanced beyonders, awaiting the preaching of Pontiff Guard II. Indeed, it's really easy to lose control when consuming excess potions. I've already digested all the past potions, but I nearly succumbed this time. After I leave Pazu Island, I'll borrow the unshuttered crucifix from the sun and purge the excessive characteristics. This can both be exchanged for money, and it can also be used to secretly nurture some beyonders who are loyal to me. Olger used the reflection of the bluestone tiles on the ground to see that his hair had darkened and thickened. Okay. At this time, the sound of a booming musical instrument exploded in the hearts of every beyonder, spreading extreme fear. Pontiff Guard II walked out with a scepter in hand, went up to dais and faced the crowd. He said in a deep, rumbling voice, "Congratulations, everyone. You are one step closer to the Lord." Geeky, you betrayed us reading the Sephirah reveal of stream. I'm not... Dude, it's crazy. I didn't know that was gonna happen. I was like 5 chill chapters. I was like 5 chill chapters, and then all that shit happened. I'm like, okay, nothing crazy's happened. I'm gonna do one more. And I was like, what the fuck? I know, I'm sorry, that was my bad. That was my bad. I know, that was my bad, Kami. I was like, I thought it was gonna be a chill 5 chapter stream before the finale. I was so wrong, dude. Congratulations, everyone. You're once not again though. A lot can happen. I know. Now I know. That ain't gonna happen anymore from here on out. I prayed to the fool. That will never happen again. You are one step closer to the Lord. He was wearing a papal tiara with the sapphires, emeralds, and other gems. He wore a dark blue robe that was nearly black. On top of it was a silver and gold silk embroidered with the symbols of light spreading, of lightning, storms, and oceans. His aura was deep and majestic, as though a tempest was about to strike. This grounded angel, the spokesperson of the Lord of Storms, was a middle-aged man who looked to be in his 40s. However, everyone knew that Guard II had been held by the Council of Cardinals for nearly a century. Nothing crazy happened, he says. Well, I thought 5 chapters would be kind of chill. As a blessed of the gods, this level of longevity was strange in the eyes of the believers. It was normal to not have anything to fear. Upon hearing the Pontiff's praise, Alger didn't have any thoughts. He clenched his right fist and struck his left breast, shouting, "Holy Lords of Storms." In the next 15 minutes, to quietly listen to Guard II's preaching. After completing this process, Alger received his mission from a higher-ranking Decon. He was to head to Sonia Island and lay in ambush in the surrounding waters in search of the opportunities to attack the port or supply ships of the Phasic merchant ship Backland Emperor's Borough inside the Hall of Family's luxurious mansion. Just as Audrey put on her blue cloak in preparation to bring her golden retriever, Susie, her maidservant Annie, and the others to the Lowen Charity Bursey Foundation at Phelps Street, saw that her father, Earl Hall, had entered through the main door. "Father, good morning. Did you not come home last night?" Audrey looked him up and down in puzzlement. You could tell Earl Hall stroked his lovely mustache and asked with a smile. Realizing that her father was in a good mood, Audrey turned her eyes and said with a faint smile, "Your coat reeks of cigarettes. It implies that you haven't taken it off for some time, not to mention that an outdoor set of clothes. Apart from this, there were many other details that could lead to the same conclusion, but Audrey deliberately didn't mention it. As Earl Hall took off his coat and handed it to the valet, he chuckled and said, "Not bad at all. You are very observant. It looks like your work at the Bursey Foundation has greatly benefited you. I was at the Prime Minister's the entire night waiting for news." Having said that, the Earl Hall sighed and said, "Winter country at Mid-Sea-Shire's front lines had once again repelled the Phasic attacks." Bro, we need to go to the front lines, man. I need to read the front lines. I need to see what's happening, dude. With the onset of the harsh winter, we can finally catch our breaths. I'm sorry, is winter coming? Are we going to have a winter's coming arc or what? Audrey blinked, perfectly expressing her surprise. Earl Hall immediately smiled. "I understand your puzzlement. The newspaper only mentions that we want the people to know the defense lines at the Amantha mountain range at the various cities alongside the Mid-Sea-Shire coast aren't as robust as you think. In the first round of the attacks, our fleet and soldiers suffer a tremendous loss. In order to not cause any panic, we announced that there were wins on both sides. We also made all the large shipyards and factories work like mad to contribute to the war machine. In this period of time, the two lines were almost breached several times. Many critical areas were lost and recovered. These repeated seesaws was apparently a human meat grinder." What the fuck? A human meat grinder? "Luckily, we finally lasted to this point. The winter will be the turning point of war." Actually, I know the number of people who died went missing, and the casualty of numbers might be concealed, but it still presents quite a few problems, which are, besides winter might not necessarily be a good thing. Phasic's weather warlocks, I forgot about this, are very good at using such situations. Audrey's heart sank as she hurriedly controlled her emotions and smiled. "That's great. I hope we can quickly have peace restored." Earl Hall was taken aback as he said, "His Majesty planned to give a speech to everyone in the kingdom on Saturday and tell them that we will prevail. When the time comes, the city and villages will be gathered and their respective squares. The latest technology will be used to allow everyone to hear his speech. The latest technology gather the entire kingdom in various squares to listen to the king's speech." Audrey suddenly thought of Mr. World's reminder and decided to inform him of this matter. "Organize a large number of people to listen to a speech. This must be the corresponding ritual, right? George III is about to hold the Black Emperor ritual." After receiving the latest news from Miss Justice, Klein returned to the real world with a solemn expression. He paced back and forth in the rental apartment and didn't delay any further. He took out a pen and paper and quickly wrote, "I've already gathered the beyond blood of the 22 pathways. I'm just short of the assassin and criminal." Just 2 more. Just freaking 2 out of 22. "George III will be holding a speech for most of the kingdom's citizens this Saturday. You should know what that might mean. In addition, I need the ritual to communicate with Mr. Dorr." I'm gonna raise the volume just a little bit, just a little smidge. After folding the letter and getting Renette Tanker to send it out, Klein slowly exhaled as he couldn't help but think of all sorts of outlines. The demoness blood shouldn't be a problem. Tracy seems very determined to fold George III's schemes. I can reveal something to Queen Mystic that I'm able to enter the secret mausoleum, although her main goal is to revive the Emperor and she is unwilling to make an enemy out of George III. The Emperor might not be able to return if George III succeeds. That is true. Because once you replace him, you won't be able to bring back Gustav. Yeah. I'm waiting for the chief of the city of Silver to return to provide the devil's blood. The hunting team that he led has set off for more than 10 years. For more than 10 days. They should be returning soon. In theory, there's still time, but there's no problem if I'll use the two contingencies. First, I'll use the Blatherer's aura to replace the blood. Second, I'll summon the devils that I've encountered in the past from the historical void. Oh, you can do that. He can summon the freaking devil he fought in the I forget his name, the one he just ran into the bar. I'll summon the devils that I've encountered in the past from the historical void and extract their blood. In a room in the Backland Bridge area that didn't look anything special, the lustrous black-haired Trissy reached out and retrieved the letter from the mirror. She opened it and her brows gradually frowned. It was especially endearing. As it finally happened, Trissy's expression changed a few times. She seemed hesitant, restrained, afraid, and confused. Finally, she smiled and muttered in a twisted voice, I've killed so many people and caused so many tragedies. Even if I were to die this time, it would be a total loss. A total loss. Guys, check spoiler channel on Discord, please. Check it. After a few seconds of silence, Trissy took out a glass tap tube from her black dress pocket. It wasn't her blood, but another demoness's. Her original name was Shermaine. Sherman's blood, who had later called herself Shermaine. As a qualified senior demoness, Trissy had found an opportunity to take some of Shermaine's blood while nurturing her. A necessary component for curses. It might have not been used for most of the time, but it could effectively prevent any accidents. After Shermaine's death, Trissy didn't abandon the tube of blood. This was because there were many occasions where demonesses needed such materials, just like now. City of Silver in particular residence, as some of the lightning frequency increased, Derek got out of bed, lit the stove, and quickly grilled some mushroom bread. Look at these guys eating food now. This bread was even more exquisite and delicious than the original blackface grass. He loved it very much, and he looked forward to his 3 daily meals. The only problem was that the yield of mushrooms they could make bread wasn't too high. Oh, it's a low count. Due to the limited number of monster corpses, every resident was only limited to 1 claim a week, enough for 4 to 5 meals. After thousands of years of hard work and the area around the city of Silver was relatively safe, with a relatively few monsters, Derek heard that someone had deliberately placed himself in the darkness to hunt monsters for the nurturing of mushrooms. Wow, look, he's going all out for food, hoping to be bait. Then he was eaten. Oh, he died. Then he was eaten. The mushrooms have made everyone feel optimistic. That's not good. Derek thought of the wistfulness before the chief had left and shook his head. He picked up a jar he had obtained from another city, Ruin, and poured out some white milk. Frankly speaking, he didn't like milk, but it was described by... He doesn't like milk? Frankly speaking, he didn't like milk, but it was described by Miss Justice after something that could help humans grow taller and stronger. This was enough to move him. He's like, I'll be fucking 12 feet now. He's literally gonna double it, dude. Dude, thank you for subscribing. I'm sorry I have it off. I should turn it back on. I'm so sorry. But, dude, thank you guys for subscribing. As a resident of the city of Silver, Derek knew oh my god, I'm too excited. As a resident of the city of Silver, Derek knew that as he hadn't chosen the giant pathway, the chances of him growing taller and bulkier in the future were very low. However, he secretly hoped to reduce the gap between him and his friends. Milk gave him that opportunity. Gulp, gulp. With a serious expression, Derek drank today's milk rations. Just as he was about to get up some mushroom bread, he suddenly sensed something and looked out the window. A person grew out of the shadows outside the door and said from afar, Derek the chief... Oh, it's the shadow dude. Derek, the chief wants me to give you this bottle of blood. The chief is back. Derek suddenly stood up and said, all right, thank you. The moment he finished speaking, he saw the shadow in the gap come alive, pushing out a small metal bottle. Derek knew very well that it contained the devil blood that Mr. World wanted. All right, next chapter. Warning! That sounds scary. All right. 49? Oh, wait. Just 50 minutes. Exactly 50 minutes. Bah! Look at that. 1, 2, 3. We're in our 5th chapter. All right, chapter 1142. It's called... Warning. After removing the paper angel wrapped in cement in the ceramic jar, Klein poured... You know what? Let me chill a little bit. Just so my back... not for my back. Just so my legs don't kind of start aching up. After removing the paper angel wrapped in the ceramic jar, Klein poured the bottle of devil's blood into it as he stirred it with glass stick he had conjured for some time. Phew, I finally gathered everything. He looked for a few seconds and sighed. This way he still had enough time to prepare before George III's ceremony. As for whether the assassin or devil in blood had enough time to be rid of the connection with its original host, he wasn't concerned, and he had confirmed that the original owners of the 2 sets of blood were dead. He divined the origins of the assassin blood to figure out if it belonged to Demon Tracy. If it did, he considered leaving some and smearing it on the surface of Grizel's travels after everything was over. Damn, he's like, I'm gonna fucking send her to the book. He was left in disappointment, but he wasn't surprised. He had long realized that Tracy was as cautious as he was. Yo, what's up, dude? What's up, Merlin? The Demonist pathway also has the Instigator sequence. It requires a high level of intelligence. Yes, the Instigator and the Conspirer potion should have the effect of increasing one's intelligence. Otherwise, the Nit's future would be bleak. As he thought, he threw the ceramic jar into the junk pile. He then returned to the real world and began to browse through the detailed ritual Tracy had provided. This was a ritual that could help him speak to Mr. Door during the full moon. A total of 9 gems. Isn't this too extravagant? He casually muttered as he read it. As a tycoon who had donated quite a bit of money, he still had nearly 30,000 pounds in liquid assets, 14,000 pounds in cash, 15,000 pounds worth of gold bars, 35 pounds of gold coins. He is stacked, dude. And some change. We need to cook? If it wasn't that he couldn't afford gems, but it was too wasteful. After thinking for more than 10 seconds, he decided to try using the images in the historical void as stand-ins. After all, he had no intention of pleasing Mr. Door. Once the ritual ended, all the gems disappeared. Mr. Door wouldn't be able to do anything to him. If it doesn't work, I'll consider purchasing it at the jewelry store. Klein stood up and started the ritual in the room outside the rental flat. After finishing his other preparations, he stretched out his right hand and slowly and heavily grabbed the thin air in front of him. He pulled out an ancient brass key from the air. This was the key to the tool to summon Mr. Door, the master key. Right after that, Klein grabbed the air in front of him solemnly against the pole and out the object from the thin air. This item emitted a tranquil glow that was also in the shape of the full moon. Embedded around it were a row of scarlet gems. In the middle was a symbol representing the moon and many mysterious patterns. Scarlet lunar corona. It was a scarlet lunar corona that currently belonged to Sharon. It could create the effects of a full moon, allowing the person holding the master key to hear Mr. Door's ravings. If he only wanted to hear Mr. Door was shouting, this would have been sufficient. There was no need to hold any more rituals, but his goal was to speak to the King of Angels. Therefore, he had to follow the procedure. After placing... really bad looking for music. No, we need to cook. Oh, for music? After placing the master key in the scarlet lunar corona on the altar, he recalled for a moment and reached out his right hand again, pulling out a handful from thin air. This time he took out a gorgeous necklace made stuffed with diamonds and what? I cannot read this word. Jaded. Oh, I have jaded. You guys want to see? I have jaded. I actually bought this in China. Look at this. Look at that. Pure, authentic jade. I bet you guys never knew this. Look at that. Bought this bad boy in Beijing. Look at that. Bam. Sorry. Slight flex. See, I have what this beautiful tycoon has. Jade. I'm saying it wrong. I'm so sorry. Then he continued and extended his right hand, preparing to gather 9 gems he needed from the ladies and madams he knew in the past. In a second, his hand stopped in midair and his expression turned odd. I'm sorry, I mispronounced it really cool. It was pretty cool. I forgot that I can only maintain 3 historical void images. What should I do? Swap the necklace and find an accessory that has at least 9 gems. Let me think about whether I've seen anything like that before. Yes, I can use dream divination to recall. This is dream divination meant for times like this. Seer and Scholar of Yore are quite compatible after all. Well, this is also an extreme form of magic. Amidst his thoughts, Klein was just about to find a chair and do the divination when he suddenly frowned. He realized that something was amiss. Under normal circumstances, it was impossible for him to forget that he could only summon 3 historical void images at the same time. This is a suitable warning for my spirituality. Looking at the master key and the scarlet lunar corona on the altar, he waved his right hand gently, causing them to vanish. He then took 4 steps counterclockwise and recited the honorific name. He went above the great fog and sat at the seat belonging to the fool. He conjured a pen and paper and carefully wrote, "Speaking to Mr. Door now is dangerous." Probably. This divination was clearly directed at Mr. Door, so Klein was bound to suffer a certain backlash effect. However, he had already obtained the basic ownership over Sephirah Castle, allowing him to use the power of an angel, so he believed that he could withstand Mr. Door. After all, he was exiled and sealed. I'm going to lower my volume a bit. He removed the spirit pendulum on his left wrist and held it with his left hand, allowing it to hang over the surface of the paper. He closed his eyes and recited the divination statement 7 times in high-strung manner. Without a sound, a shadow suddenly flashed across his mind. It seemed to completely screen his spiritual perception. He hurriedly opened his eyes and saw that the topaz pendant had shattered into powder. After my initial grasp of the Sephirah Castle and some divinations are more concealed, it won't cause any accidents. Yes, is it because my safety is involved in the matter that this has happened, or is it because the gap between me and Mr. Door has been narrowed to a certain extent? Of course, this is referring to Mr. Door, who is in a sealed state, or perhaps the effects of the two combined. The present result shows that speaking to Mr. Door holds unintendable danger. Why, though? Klein frowned, unable to come up with any effective speculations or reasonable explanations. After a while, he leaned back against the high-backed chair and shook his head with a sigh. He gave up on his original plan. I could only make the preparations in other areas. With his left hand pressed down, the topaz pendant instantly recovered. After all, it was only projection above the great fog. Because of the changes in divination earlier, Klein made some connections. Perhaps praying in the secret of the twisted and translucent maggots of the main peak of the Hornicus mountain range might not be as dangerous as before. That's highly likely to be Sequence 1 angel of the Antigonus family. It might even be the half-fool that Leonard mentioned to me. If my prying can hold on for a while longer, I can directly discern the formulas of the Sequence 2 Miracle Invoker or Sequence 1 Attender to the Mysteries. There's only one chance. I don't know what sort of developments would happen when dealing with a crazy monster. I'll wait till I'm completely accustomed to the Scholar of Yore portion before making the attempt. Klein rubbed his temples before disappearing above the great fog. After returning to the real world, he wasn't in a hurry to clean up the altar. Instead, he sat back down and seriously considered what other abnormal preparations he could make. The so-called normal ones were meeting Queen Mystic once to discuss the details of the cooperations given with Will Ossipton, Renette Tinker Palazaros, more gifts, pray to the Evernight Goddess, and increased chances of the summoning of the ascetic, Ariana Historical Void Image, familiarizing himself with the core powers of the Scholar of Yore. As for the abnormal ones, it was purely based on Klein's own imagination. After some thought, Klein's expression turned solemn. He frowned slightly and reached out his right hand to grab at the air. This time, he didn't drag anything out. He did it another 10 times, but all of them were met with failure. He then had no choice but to accept the fact it was impossible to succeed purely by relying on himself. He then took out his wallet and took out a paper crane. On the surface, he wrote a pencil. Give me some luck. I'll bring you some ice cream from the Sereno restaurant. After folding the paper crane, he entered the room and laid down on the bed. He restored his spirituality by sleeping. In his hazy dream, he saw thin silver snakes forming in response. Five fucking ice creams? Damn, he is asking for a lot. No problem. Klein smiled and made a promise. At that moment, he woke up. He sat up and reached out his right hand again, grabbing a total of 10 times. He still met with a complete failure. I can't do it even if I'm lucky enough. It's too difficult. Klein subconsciously wanted to use his figure to wrap the edge of the bed, but he instantly restrained himself. It was a habit of his above the great fog, so it wasn't suitable for him to bring it to the world. After pacing back and forth for a long time, he seriously considered all kinds of connections. Finally, he left the bedroom and went to the altar outside, which had yet to been tied up. What did I just say? Finally, he left the bedroom and went to the altar outside of which had yet been tidied up. He brought an item back to the real world. It was an ancient book made of goat skin with a dark brown cover, Grizel's Travels. Picking up the book, he took a deep breath, half closed his eyes as if sensing something. Slowly, he reached out his right hand and grabbed it very lightly. Failure, another grab. It was still in failure. After 5 consecutive failures, Klein's actions became even slower, as though he was taking on a piece of charcoal from the glowing red stove. What? For the slowly form glowing red stove. Suddenly the muscles on his arm tightened and he carefully pulled back. His right hand slowly retracted, slowly dragged out a rather dull, ancient looking quill. This came from the revival square of the southern continent's West Balam's northern state, right side beside Inns Zengwil's corpse. Alright. Music change? God, sign me up, bro. I'm ready. Let me read this slower. Let me reread this. What? I read 008. After 5 consecutive failures, Klein's action became even slower, as though he was taking out a piece of charcoal from a glowing red glove. Steadily, the muscles on his arms tightened as he carefully pulled back. His right hand slowly retracted, slowly dragging out a rather dull, ancient-looking quill. This came from the revival square of the southern continent. Got it. Revival square of the southern continent, West Balam's northern state, right beside Inns Zengwil's corpse. This was 008 before Amon's brother picked it up. I'm sorry. He can use the quill? What the fuck? This chapter is called Reasonable Development. No shot. Reasonable Development is him using the quill. What? What? Let me do my timestamp. 1 hour, 30 seconds. Get more serious music right now. I got it. This sounds pretty serious. How's this? Oh, I got one. It's kind of holy. This music is kind of holy. Look, let me put it full blast. I think this could work. A little bit of holy music in here. A little bit of church music. Works for me. Works for now. All right. Let me hydrate. It's walking on music. This is literally like when he was walking at the end of season 1, dude. Same vibe. Wait, I'm copy and paste the chapter. All right, man. I'm kind of scared to read this chapter. I'll be honest, I'm kind of scared. If there's one thing you guys have never been able to shut up about is, reasonable development. All right, let's go, dude. Chapter 1149 is called Reasonable Development. Imagine future Ultimate readers just get the Dunqua soundtrack for background music. Oh, I'm so jealous of them. Reasonable Development. I can only maintain it for about a minute or so. Dude, that's all he needs is a minute to write something down. That's way too short, isn't it? A thought flashed through Klein's mind without thinking about anything else. He took 2 steps to the desk. He put down Grizel's travels and quickly wrote on a piece of paper with 008. George, what the fuck? Oh, and he ends it with, that was a reasonable development. We are on 1143. George Thirst plans to use his speech to bait out all his enemies. George plans to use this speech to bait out all his enemies who wants to sabotage his ritual. However, if everything goes smoothly and nothing happens, he'll take the opportunity to consume the potion and reveal his trump card to aim for divinity. After all, there are too many unknowns in the future, making it unsafe. Furthermore, he made the appropriate preparations for the ritual. They're all already prepared in an adequate level. This is a very reasonable development. What the fuck? Klein was the one that said that the whole time? After Klein wrote while he using the quill, after Klein wrote the last sentence and before he could check if there was anything wrong with the written context, the dim quill in his hand disappeared without a trace, as though it had never existed. And those few seconds seemed to drain all his energy, making him feel dizzy. He took, yo, what's up, dude? Oh my god, this is hype, dude. He can now use the fucking quill. He took a few steps back and collapsed into his chair. Oh wait, dude, this is so scary, the fact that he can use the quill. Nah. I don't like that he can use the quill. This is scary. And those few words seemed to drain all his energy, making him feel dizzy. He took a few steps back and collapsed into his chair. It doesn't make sense. It wasn't exhausting for Instant Ghoul back then. It should be because I forcefully summoned it and I didn't dare let 008 weave a story on its own. When I wrote on the piece of paper, I had to rely on my own spirituality to support it. As for Insegwell, he could get 008's cooperation, so it wasn't that draining. Klein closed his eyes and used cognition for a while before feeling better. Oh, this is scary, dude. Oh, shit. His enemy? Under normal circumstances, having no physical contact with 008 and merely mentioning it once had made it impossible for him to summon this grade 0 sealed artifact. However, on the other hand, he had the Snake of Fate to personally augment his luck. Oh, he's going to use them in combination. To augment his luck, and on the other hand, he had a Grizel's travels. This was the item left behind by the Dragon of Imagination Ankled. Inside it was the City of Miracles, Livsier. It had a connection to a certain degree to an existence like 008. If it wasn't for some high-level existence disruption, these two items would have long been reunited. Klein didn't know if this fate in particular connection could increase the chance of a successful summoning. He only wanted to give it a try since he didn't stand to lose anything. To his surprise, he really succeeded. And it was precisely because of this that he didn't dare to write Grizel's travels to bear the contents of 008's projection. He didn't even dare to let them come close, afraid that something irreversible would happen. Sounds like that's going to happen in Volume 8. This was Backland, which had an extremely dense population. Yes, logically speaking, there shouldn't be any accidents. After all, 008 is a historical void projection. It's fake. Grizel's travels was conjured by the dragon of imagination, and it's also fake. A fake combination can't really be any way. I mean, 2 negatives equal a positive, right? Can be in any way. They lack the foundation of a bionic characteristic. I can go back to the uninhabited Reef Island to test it. Klein rubbed his temples and returned to the desk. Therefore, he began reading what he had just written. Oh my god, I forgot to tell you guys the story. I almost freaking died. I almost got hit by a car. Quick tangent. It's related to the quill. I was half sleepy crossing A Street. A car was coming up pretty quick. Now I'm like half asleep looking at it. I'm like, whoa, holy shit, this is it. And then the car braked. Bro, what? I know. It gets better. I looked down at the car. Guess what I fucking saw? Are you ready? I saw a fucking white feather. I saw a fucking white feather when I looked down. And the feather wasn't falling like in the Dunghua. It would have been pretty cinematic if the feather was falling. Bro, definitely reasonable development. Okay, it didn't go, the car didn't go, hold up, slight over-exaggeration. It braked, right? But you didn't hear, it wasn't going that careful. I mean, it wasn't going that fast, but the car braked. I'm like, oh shit, half asleep. I wasn't fully conscious. Like walking, I'm like, man, I'm really tired, but you know what? I gotta go get something. And then I looked down where the car braked, a fucking white feather. I'm like, holy fucking Lord of Storms. What a coincidence. You're correct. Klein literally wrote reasonable development. The car braked before he died. Thank you, fool. I love you, man. Let's keep reading. Back to the story. I should have said that at the beginning. That shit was crazy. I'm like, wow. I had an epiphany. I was like, I value life too much to die by that. Klein rubbed his temples and returned to the desk. Therefore, he began... I probably wouldn't have died. The car wasn't going that fast, by the way, but it was pretty crazy. I was like, what a fucking coincidence. It would have been crazier if the feather was actually falling, but it was already on the ground. Klein rubbed his temples and returned to his desk. Therefore, he began reading what he had just written. He didn't directly write that George III would be successful in his advancement and die on the spot. He believed that if he interfered with Sequence 1 Angel, the projection of 008 wouldn't be able to be so direct. He had to be more tactful. Furthermore, there was also the psychological alchemist and Amon's brother. Overly obvious effects would definitely be detected and easily made use of it. All he could do was beat... Oh, okay. You can't make it too obvious. It has to be really subtle. And I was happy, man. The quill saved you. The quill fucking saved me, like... And he lived. Reasonable development. And the car braked just in time. Coincidentally. All he could do was beat about the bush to mitigate the unknown. I hope it works. After staring at it for a while, he folded the piece of paper and stuffed it into his pocket. Then he sacrificed Grizel's travels back above the gray fog. After doing all this, Klein began to consider another problem. It was when he would head out to buy some ice cream for Will Ossipton. Backlund had Zartold, and it was very possible that Amon is there. If I head out too frequently, we might run into each other. If it's a little too dangerous, why don't I summon some ice cream for Will Ossipton from the historical void? What the fuck? It's very real when eating it, and it disappears in 50. And then his stomach would be empty, and he can keep he can keep eating. Wow, I'm stuttering. I'm too excited. And it'll disappear in 15 minutes. There's no way to worry about gaining weight at all. It's just splendid. If only life was that easy. Klein couldn't help but mumble inwardly. In the end, he decided to change his clothes and leave the house because he had to keep his promise. Saturday morning. The sky was gray and misty. It made one feel inexplicably stifled. This was a common scene in Backland deep winter, although the smog wasn't as thick as pungent like last year. The geographical environment and climate characteristics had determined that such situations would definitely exist for a long period of time. Furthermore, victory over environmental pollution was never something that could be declared in a year of two. After putting on a black coat that covered her knees and a black veil hat of Melissa. Oh shit, we switched to Melissa. After putting on a black coat that covered her knees, I don't like that we're cutting to her at the end of this volume. Melissa quickly walked to the door. Benson held his hat and shook his head. A young girl who wasn't even 20 years old should be dressed like a teenager. You look overly mature and old-fashioned, and that understood old-fashioned. Melissa glanced at her brother and simply replied, "The price of a pound of bread has risen by a quarter pence. This price," Benson tisked. He then took out a silver pocket watch covered in vine leaf patterns and snapped it open. "Let's go. There's still a long way before the municipal square." Melissa cheerfully responded and went out into the streets with her brother. "Good morning, Mr. Daniel." After taking a few steps forward, Benson saw a neighbor leaving. He greeted. This is sad. I don't want to read anything about these people right now. We're so close to the ending, and war is like all-out war is like right around the corner. He greeted her with a smile. He was good at chatting and had long established a good relationship with his neighbors. He's being too nice. The lady named Miss Daniel wore a black dress. She was in her 40s and had a thin face. Her face was covered in a thin black veil that hung down from her hat. When she heard the greeting, she nodded and replied simply, "Good morning, the two of you." She didn't make any small talk, and she cordially walked away. As he watched her back, Benson deliberately slowed down his pace. When they finally opened up a distance, he turned and asked his sister, "What happened to Miss Daniels? I've been too busy recently, so I haven't visited the neighbors in a long time." I'm kind of sad reading about them right now, man. The ending, dude, for season 1 was probably some of the most crazy shit I've ever watched. Finally get to stream in time. Yo, thank you for joining, Zen. Melissa pursed her lips and said, Miss Daniel's oldest son was confirmed to have died on the front lines of the Amantha Mountain Range. Fuck. News from yesterday. That tall, bashful, but thoughtful, kind, and sincere young lad. When he came back last time, he said that he was promoted in the army and became an officer. Benson asked in surprise. Melissa nodded. I could imagine that Larry would die just like that, just like how she could have imagined the tragic deaths of her classmate at school. In just a few seconds, some people could no longer speak, communicate, or study. Benson was silent for a moment before sighing. I've been very busy lately. Actually, I've been dealing with bereavement payments, but perhaps the list I received didn't include Larry, so I'm not sure. There's a lot of information on that list. Some are cheerful, others are humorous, other things that only children within the family. Some are determined, while others are the leaders of the soldiers around them. Some just got married and don't have children. Some are preparing presents for their youngest daughters, while others have love letters with them. They planned on sending it at the post office after battle, but they're all dead. This is getting real, dude. Melissa and Benson fell silent at the same time, and neither of them spoke for a long time. When they were almost at the intersection, Melissa looked at the road ahead and said in a low voice, "What do you think His Majesty will be talking about in speech today? Perhaps it's a form of..." I really don't want him to die, man. I'm like making fanfics in my head right now, bro. Like, what if they die and then like, I don't even want to say it. I'm fucking gonna say it. Like, what if like they die in front of like Klein and he just fucking loses control? I don't even want to read chat right now. He just fucking goes crazy. Oh man, I don't want to. Oh no, I'll shut up. Or perhaps it is to convey the faith that we will prevail, Benson said in passing. Melissa turned to look at her brother. This isn't like you, Benson. Shouldn't you be making some snarky remarks? It should wait till the speech is heard or the specific content is understood. The most basic principle of being a person is to not make comment on things that one doesn't know enough of. Otherwise, they would be worse than a curly-haired baboon, Benson said with a smile. At this moment, he saw another neighbor. The other party's hair was white and his face was half covered with a scarf. He was wearing a thick jacket and was holding a cloth bag in his hand as he hurried past the siblings. Mr. Thomas's dressing is so strange. Does he still needs to do something else? Benson looked at the back of the man and asked in puzzlement. Melissa replied in a low voice, Miss Thomas is sick and the... Fuck, I can't read. I cannot read. I'm too excited. Yo, me too, Zen. Me too. People are dying in Lord of the Mysteries. Hell no. Hey, yo, Wiz, you sound a little too funny with that. I don't know what you're trying to imply, man. What are you trying to imply, huh? I'm trying to see under the layers of that message, huh? What do you mean by that, huh? Why 3 question marks and not 1, huh? Why 3? Too many coincidences. 1, 2, 3, too many coincidences. I cannot read. We know easy. Ah, shit. I almost started like fucking crazy the last chapter, dude. Melissa replied in a low voice, Miss Thomas is sick and spent quite a bit on the family savings. Recently, with food prices sharply increasing, while Mr. Thomas' income remains the same. He has to queue up for the soup kitchen every few days to get some bread. He's a decent gentleman, so probably doesn't want others to recognize him. Also, the food at the soup kitchen is always limited. If one's late, there might not be any left. They'll have to go to the cathedral, the workshop, the workhouse and other places. The Hangout just happened to start after His Majesty's speech, so Mr. Thomas probably wants to go there directly. Benson nodded slowly and asking concern, "What's wrong with Miss Thomas? I know a few good doctors. A disease caused by anxiety." Melissa explained what she had heard. Miss Thomas is very worried about her youngest children who serve in the army. "You mean Thomas Jr.?" Benson frowned slightly. After receiving his sister's confirmation, he fell silent as if recalling something. They're dead. After a while, when they approached the nearest municipal square, Benson looked ahead and whispered, "Thomas Jr. Is already dead." Fuck, man. Melissa didn't respond, but her expression was a little dazed. They walked forward slightly as if they were relying on inertia. More and more people appeared in front of them. Those people were either dressed in formal attire or holding canes, dressed up as gentlemen. Otherwise, they were dressed in blue, green, yellow, and red color skirts, sweaters and leathers, jackets matched with pants or dark red colors, petticoats. Their colors were dull. They came out of their houses and from the streets they were on, like droplet splashes upwards. They merged together at the intersection, forming a tiny sphere. The stream surged ahead, combining with other tributaries, and flowed into the square entrance, interweaving into a majestic turret. The turret slowly surged forward, flooding the square. At this torrent of humans, Melissa felt like she was as puny as a water droplet. Oh man, that reminds me of the scene in Dune Part 2 when he's just walking and he's like a freaking grain of sand in front of all the Fremen. Oh man, that's what I'm thinking. Amidst this torrent of humans, Melissa felt like she was as puny as a water droplet. Tributaries, branch of rivers. Oh, I didn't know what that was. Okay, I thought it was like an analogy. Oh, water droplet. I get it. I see the correlation right here. I see the analogy. Got it. All right, narrowly. Fuck, dude, we got 6 more chapters. 6 more fucking chapters, dude. Ooh, shit. I'm pumped. All right, 115. 18. Oh man, I'm getting scared. By the way, man, Steam had a really good sale on a few indie games, and I picked up Undertale for like $2. That was a fucking steal. Lisal Gabi. Ooh, I said it so wrong. Wow, shame on me. All right, let's keep reading. I'm so ready for Dune Messiah, bro. It's gonna fucking slap, bro. It's gonna be so good. I'm so pumped, dude. I feel like I want to do movie reviews for fun, like short 5-minute movie reviews, and then I can like practice doing reviews, man. Chapter 1144 is called Narrowly. Was that funny? Lisal Gaib. I think I said it right that time. Due to the fact that they had arrived early, the seats that Melissa and Benson could choose from weren't too bad. They could directly see something strange on the grayish-white stone pillars in the middle of the square. Its 2 heads dramatically differed in size and were painted with dark blue paint. It connected to some cables. At the foot of the object was a troop of soldiers in red shirts and white pants. They were carrying grayish-white metal backpacks as well as the complicated structures of the small caliber rifles. They were watching their surroundings in high alert. Actually, 2 music changes soon, one in 44 and the other 145. I'll send chat since I'm on now. Bet. Let me know. As more and more citizens gathered, the square began bustling with activity. At 9 o'clock sharp, the strange object of the stone pillar suddenly produced sizzling sounds. I got you. Thank you, Cammy. Finally, it changed into the deep and thick voice. "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your emperor, ruler of the Lowen, East Balam, and Roasted Archipelago, George Augustus III. That thing can talk. Is using the principles behind the telegram. Melissa's eyes widened as her attention shifted from the speech to the strange thing. Oh, she's interested in it. "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your emperor, ruler of Lowen, East Balam, and Roasted Archipelago, George Augustus III. At Memorial Square in Westboro, Audrey accompanied her father, mother, and elder brother near this platform. She looked at the king in his formal attire as she attentively listened to his speech. As she knew in advance what George III would be focusing on today and the moon that would be created, Audrey didn't wear anything that she was fond of. Be it the colors or styles, there were nothing a girl would wear. As if some were the Earl's wife, Caitlin, the dress was simple and conservative. It was black in color without traces of accessories. When you read, suddenly his expression turned solemn. Possibility. Bet. Let me know. I got you. When you read, suddenly his expression turned solemn. I got you. I'm very happy, but also feel heavy-hearted to tell everyone. Wow, music is a little bit loud. Let me turn down the smidge. I'm very happy, but also very heavy-hearted to tell everyone that we finally stopped the first stage of the Faisakians attack. We folded plans of annihilation alone within 3 months. 3 months passed already? But many outstanding young people have already died at the front lines and died of this war. They had a better future ahead of time. They should have accompanied their parents in growing up, giving together with their spouses, and allowing their children to grow up in a loving environment and have a good childhood. The Phasakians had destroyed everything. Knowing why this war had started, Audrey wasn't incited by the king's speech. She only felt that he directly had talent in inciting drama. She heard slight sobbing sounds coming from the crowd around her. She could feel the sadness rising bit by bit as they interweaved and brewed. Her eyes reddened uncontrollably. The king's speech was very fake, but the sorrow of the people was real. In particular, Audrey had sensed many family members who had been killed, having helped those who had lost their children, husbands, and their fathers overnight. This is also great resonance of emotions, the best place to consume the manipulated potion. Audrey suddenly came to realization, but she was unable to make use of it because not only had she not digested the Dreamwalker potion, but she had yet to provide enough contributions to Mr. World. Mr. World is very concerned about today's... I skipped a sentence. She slowly took a deep breath and controlled her emotions. She shifted her gaze away from King George III and let her thoughts wander. Mr. World is very concerned about today's speech. I wonder how he's going to exploit this. I hope it won't lead to serious accident. Bro, what if we go all out and fight him right here, right now? And then... Oh! I dropped the Saragado water! What if we go all out and then, like, Klein runs into Benton and Melissa? The thing called a radio broadcast is based on the principles of the wireless radio transmission. Miss World mentioned that the certain factions at sea have already put such technology to use. Compared to the sea, which is constantly affected by the storms, something like this is clearly more suitable for us on land. As for the thoughts flashed through her mind, the stern and old-fashioned... We're spending so much time on these people right now. I'm getting scared. Woo! I'm getting scared. Yeah, what if we do that and we get them killed? Wait, chill. You guys are getting me. You guys are starting to scare me, dude. As the thoughts flashed through her mind, the stern and old-fashioned George III finished the first part of his speech and solemnly said, "Let us mourn for our heroes here. Ladies and gentlemen, recite this together with me in your hearts. In the name of the Emperor George III, I wish for the dead heroes to be at peace. I hope they will become eternal in the kingdom of the deity they believe in." Damn, that's a hard-ass line. This sentence carried an indescribable sense of dignity, making everyone, including Audrey, involuntarily lower their heads, clasp their hands, and silently recite, "In the name of the Emperor George III." In the name of the Emperor George III, on the other side of the memorial square, Klein, who was wearing a black coat and ordinary face, stood up and prayed with the crowd around him at the same time. He appeared completely normal. After 3 minutes of silence, he used a vain marionette standing on the roof of a nearby building to carefully observe George III. Every move an attempt to find a sign that the king was about to quietly leave and enter the mausoleum to consume the potion. Oh, he's ready. How are we going to stop it? According to Klein's understanding, the "in the name of the Emperor George III" segment was core to the entire Black Emperor ritual. If one were to consume the potion, it would definitely happen at this moment or within the 2 to 3 minutes after the collective mourning. The effects would likely be lacking if there was any delay. George III is also silently mourning. He isn't doing anything else. Klein held back his impatience and puzzlement as he patiently waited. Tears streamed down many people's faces as the mourning gradually came to an end. Everyone opened their eyes, and one after another, this month George III didn't do anything. He spoke again and continued his speech. Huh? We've already endured through the most difficult part. We'll definitely defeat this evil and brutality. This is the power of justice. This is the power of every soldier at the front lines. This is the power of every factory worker. The arrangement by 008. Oh, it didn't work. The arrangement by 008 wasn't successful. George III had no intention of becoming a god today. He's just trying to bait an enemy who wants to destroy his ritual. Oh, he's baiting them. Damn, there's so many layers. Any enemies who want to destroy his ritual. In any case, he can still give many more speeches like this in the future. Klein frowned slightly as thoughts flashed through his mind. Suddenly, his expression turned solemn as he thought of a possibility. In the blink of an eye, Klein switched places with Uni, who was hiding in the sewers. The latter was dressed the same as him, as his external appearance looked identical to him. Following that, Klein took 4 steps counterclockwise and went above the gray fog. Oh, wait, already? Wait, I didn't even realize it said solemn. Really? Already? Music? Okay, music. Okay, he's going... Okay. Got it. Oh, his expression turned solemn and thoughts of possibility. Got it. All right, changing. I got you. Changing. What? Walls closing in? Fuck you mean walls closing in? This is so hype. Oh shit, okay, so we are getting a fight. Alright, in the blink of an eye, Klein switched places with Uni, who was hiding in the sewers. I'm so excited now. The latter was dressed the same as him, and his external experience looked identical to him. The music is so loud, give me a sec. Oh man, the music is really loud. Oh, walls closing in. Music froze on my end. Always walls closing in. That's the best, man. The shit hits. In the blink of an eye, Klein switched places with Uni. I'm putting on both headphones. And the blink of an eye, Klein switched places with Uni, who was hiding in the sewers. The latter was dressed the same as him, as his external experience looked identical to him. Following that, Klein took 4 steps counterclockwise and went above the Great Fog. With the help of the Crimson Star representing Miss Justice, he used True Vision to observe the situation in the square. He was already a Sequence 3 Beyonder, so there was no need for him to use the Sea God Scepter to widen his field of view. Of course, compared to the Scholar of Yore, a Sea King's True Vision was obviously much larger. However, there were no need for that. Okay? The moment his gaze landed on the stage where King George III was giving his speech, his gaze froze. There was no one there, or rather, there was only a fake phantom. It was an imagined George III giving... Oh, the real him is going to consume the fucking potion. Before the speech, Klein had been wary of this problem, but he had specifically observed and confirmed that if the real George III, who knew that within a few minutes the real George III would become an imaginary George III. In the midst of his silence, he used the Black Ember pathway powers to distort and silently swap himself with a substitute. Oh, when everybody looked down. George III should have already entered the secret mausoleum and is consuming a potion in an attempt to advance. With a thought, he quickly checked the surroundings area and discovered that there was something abnormal beneath the platform. Boundless black energy. Oh, that's one of the 8 other things the Emperor made. Next song is a new one, but Wiz used it and it's still unmuted on his VOD, so it should be fine. Okay. And there was something abnormal beneath the platform. Boundless black energy was secretly emitting from there. Oh, I scrolled down too much. He then picked up the Black Ember card on the surface on the long bronze table and tried sensing it. Wiz, can you confirm? I don't know if he's still here. And tried sensing it. Using the law of the convergence of the Beyonder characteristics, he confirmed that the power belonging to the Black Ember pathway and came from distortion powers. Impressive. While using a speech to bait the enemy, he disguised himself as a fake person and secretly left to consume the potion. There's not much time left. Klein's heart tightened as he immediately returned to the real world. And in the sewers, oh my god, it's gonna be another sewer fight. In the sewers, he recited in the Jotum, the sacred spirit of the pursuer's knowledge, the mysterious world's lighthouse, eyes that pry into fate, the royalty above the sea, the pure and holy Bernadette Gustave. This was the honorific name of Queen Mystic, but it was somewhat different from a normal Sequence 3. Its range was very large and was effective at all across Backland. With regards to this, Klein suspected that the eldest daughter of the Emperor Rizal had used a grade 0 sealed artifact to achieve this effect. Bernadette rarely told her honorific name to anyone. Oh my god. Wait, I just realized it's 4 lines. The mysterious world's lighthouse. Is that a pathway? Lighthouse. Eyes that the mysterious world's light. Oh, it's a sequence. Lighthouse is a sequence, right? Eyes that pry into fate. The royalty above the sea. Above the sea. Wasn't there a thing called Chaos Sea? The pure and holy Bernadette Gustave. Okay. Bernadette rarely told her honorific name to anyone, afraid that some enemies would use the prayer and automatic response to properly lock onto her position. Before she reached Sequence 2, this was very similar to what Klein had thought of. Klein had come to an agreement with her that as long as he recited her honorific name, she would choose any secret mausoleum and open the door with a symbol drawn by the blood in an attempt to destroy it. Both of them didn't have any hopes of success because the guards in the mausoleum would definitely chant the honorific names of the angels every once in a while, causing the situation that allowed them to see the corresponding errors through the prayer point of light. Once they discovered that something amiss, they would immediately rush over to help. Bernadette's main purpose was to attract attention. Of course, if those angels were to arrive at a slower place, Queen Mystic could also go from providing support to being the main offensive. After doing this, Klein immediately stretched out his right hand to grab the air. As his arm pulled back, a figure appeared in front of him. It was a woman figure with average facial features and dark eyes. She wore a simple robe and a tree bark belt. Oh, shit. What was her name? The Concealment Grounded Angel? Oh, I see it. Ariana. Her raven black hair hung down as she stood bare feet without any shoes or socks. The Evernights Cloister's Matreon, the aesthetic leader of the Servant of Concealment, the grounded angel Ariana. I succeeded in one try. Klein was shocked, but he didn't think too much about it. He quickly said, keep my existence concealed and protect the people of Backland. He was worried after George III lost control due to the destruction of his ritual, he would rush out of the mausoleum and harm people in the city. Oh. All right, Ariana replied with a calm expression. She wasn't rigged. Dude, thank you for subscribing. This is getting hype. She wasn't rigged or stiff at all. It can't be her in person, right? Actually, my summoning wasn't successful, but the goddess had already gotten Ma'am Ariana to secretly return to Backland. The moment she sensed that she had been summoned, she came over. An angel of the concealment domain An angel of the concealment domain also has a certain degree of control over their historical void images. Huh? The goddess's feet. That's a cool nickname, huh? Oh, man. As a thought flashed through his mind, he realized that he had entered a special state, no longer being sensed by the outside world. Oh, shit. All right. It's fucking fight time, dude. Let's keep reading, dude. Chapter 1145 is called 3 Arrows at the Same Time. Okay. By the way, that's a pretty cool name, dude. Whose arm? Whose arm, indeed. Let me lower the volume on my end of bed. It's actually hurting my ears. I'm gonna lower it on my end and I'm gonna raise it up for you guys. It's actually starting to hurt my ears. I think this is good for you guys. I think this is good right here. Alright. I'm gonna drink from this water. Here we go. I lost my voice over the weekend, man. I fucking sang my heart out, bro, at the Linkin Park concert. Sunday, I was in recovery mode when I was out with the missus. And I just got my voice back, and I'm like, I'm already straining my voice. I think tomorrow we're not going to read Eliseed. I mean, tomorrow we're not going to read Lord of the Mysteries. We'll save volume 6 for Wednesday, yeah. But we'll still do all the other stuff, all the other smaller read-throughs. And we'll do more trailer reacts. I do want to check out more Dunkwa. Arm Shirley. I do want to check out more Dunkwa. Maybe after this stream, we can check out one new trailer that username sent. Or if you guys have any other recommendations, we can check out another cool one. Or we can also check out that link click opening. I think somebody sent it. I'm down to check that out. And I do plan to catch up with 2B Hero X. So I'll do videos on those. That way that's up. And that way I finished it. I hope you're prepared for another 1,000 plus chapters. Dude, oh wait, hold up. Whose arm? I am going to take a slight break before I start COI, but I will read COI. I am reading COI. Don't worry. I am going to read it, but it's going to be a while. I kind of want to game and read some manhwa in between another big read-through. Yeah, I doubt you'll be able to stop. I know. I won't be able to stop. Of course I'm going to read. But we are going to take a slight break from COI before we start COI. We'll see. You're fucking right. We'll see. The one thing I am for sure going to do, I am going to play all of Yakuza 0 on stream. I do want to play that. That for sure. I want to play one badass game on stream, and it'd be fun playing with you guys. So that one for sure is going to happen. When you read the symbol provided by Mr. Dora was really useful. Okay. Check chat. Bet. Door symbol. Got it. Chapter 1145. So we're really far into the series. It's called 3 Arrows at the Same Time. It's like in Lord of the Rings Fellowship. When he died, oh man, gets me every time. Klein didn't have the time to think about such trivial matters. After having his existence concealed, he immediately got Uni to switch places with a new marionette who was formerly a pirate. Immediately following that, he achieved creeping hunger and brought Uni Konis to the secret mausoleum in All County. As he could only maintain 3 images from the historical void at the same time, it was impossible for him to abandon his marionette and directly come over by using a summoning projection. It would occupy a crucial spot. As for the remaining marionettes in Memorial Square, they wouldn't die on the spot in half an hour. They would only appear to be in a daze. However, this wasn't something that would attract too much attention. While listening to his speech, finally, if it didn't return, the Red Gloves team from the Church of the Evernight would clean up his tracks. Door the goat. You're the goat. You ain't stopping in volume 5. I'm gonna bet you're gonna start volume 6 this stream. We'll go right in, dude. At the same time, is it that hype? At the same time, outside the secret mausoleum in East Chester County, Roselle comes back this volume. No shot. We stop George III, and that leaves Gustav, and then he comes back. Oh, shit. At the same time, outside the secret mausoleum in East Chester County, there's a young lady in a yellow layered dress and a black old-fashioned bonnet. Pea vines, oh, it's Bernadette. Pea vines grew out of nowhere as they appeared. Her chestnut hair cascaded down naturally. Her eyebrows were long and straight, and her eyes appeared as though they were filled with a blue sea. Looking at the mountain wall in front of her, Queen Mystic extended her right hand and quickly formed a symbol of void. Following that, the movement of her fingertips dropped on the bright red blood that resembled shattered gems seeped out of the frozen midair. Soon, a complicated symbol formed. The layers of the door appeared. They trembled slightly and seemed to resonate with something somewhere else. In the blink of an eye, the blood-colored symbol extended into an illusionary translucent door. Through it, one could vaguely see a gigantic mausoleum formed from the black rocks. Bernadette immediately walked through the illusioning door and arrived inside a dim, dark sea. The light here came from the lights of the stone pillars. Strange underground moss grew out of the cliff walls. Together, they illuminated walls. Get it? We're playing walls closing in. I get it. Already? Okay, we're getting ready. We're getting the song ready. I got you, Kami. Moss grew out of the cliff walls together. They illuminated the secret mausoleum and the light fog at the bottom. The symbol provided by Mr. Door was really useful. I got you. Wall change. All right, we're gonna leave walls closing in on the tab open. All right, here we go. What kind of song is this? Monster Hunter music. Oh, get the fuck out of here. Oh, let's fucking go. I fucking love Monster Hunter. Let's loop this bitch. Sunbreak's theme, right? Oh man, this is a good battle theme. Wait. I haven't heard of this one. I lied. I haven't played the DLC. One sec. Why is chat frozen right here? Oh, it's not frozen. Oh, fuck. Go to activity. Take off activity. All right. This is kind of hype. Yeah, Monster Hunter music always slaps, dude. At this moment, as the ritual was being held deep underground, fate lines gathered, forming a figure in mid-air and darkness. Come on, man. This song is a little too hype. Hold up. I gotta lower the music on my end. It's getting me a little too excited. Let me loop it. All right. The symbol provided by Mr. Door was really useful. At this moment, as the ritual was being held deep underground, faint lights gathered, forming a figure mid-air in the darkness. The figure had a square face. George has a square face. He's a square head. The figure had a square face, black hair and blue eyes, a high nose bridge, and a thick beard. He looked rather solemn. His appearance and image was unfamiliar to many citizens of the Lone Kingdom. This was because he had printed on the outside of 10-pound notes. Of course, people who had... The former Lowen Kingdom guy, right? The former Lowen. Of course, people who had never... Oh, George. Oh, I see it. William Augustus. Wait, was William Augustus III George III the entire time? Of course, people who had never touched 10-pound notes in their entire lives could also see his statue or portraits of the Memorial Square. He was the Lowen Kingdom's founder and protector, the first king, William Augustus I. This was an entity referred to him as he. With the help of the ritual, he had come here directly to Backland. Bernadette remained impassive. With a flip of her head, a new item appeared. The item was golden in color, like a miniaturized water flask. However, a candle wick extended out from the mountain of the flask. As Bernadette caressed the surface of the item with her right hand, one of them was covered in the mysterious and complicated symbols. The candle wick silently ignited. The light it emitted was like a sticky water stem from spraying upwards, forming a blurry and twisted golden figure. That's a different guy, bro? Okay, well, it is a different guy. Got it. I thought he was like disguised as him the entire time. Because I think they did mention that earlier. 5 more chapters until bro decides to read. Let's keep going, dude. Eternal Genie of the Lamp. My second wish is to obtain the strength of a knowledge emperor for one day. Seizing the opportunity when William Augustus I had yet to fully descend, Bernadette spoke in solemn voice. The item in her hand was called Magic Wishing Lamp. Magic Wishing Lamp. It might have come as early as the first epoch. The fuck? Although it had never been obtained by the 7 churches, it had the corresponding grade 0 sealed artifact 005. I'm sorry. This is even before the quill. This item can grant its owner any 10 wishes. I'm sorry, is wish 10 like 10 more wishes? But this was either done in a distorted form or it came with unpredictable and terrifying outcomes. Oh my god, my nose is getting itchy. I noticed my nose gets itchy when I'm excited now. None of its previous owners had a good ending, including Rizal Gustav. This emperor had warned his daughter that she could use the proper choice of words and make preparations to avoid the harm brought about by the first 2 wishes. But she absolutely couldn't make the 3rd wish. Absolutely not. Meanwhile, the concealed client arrived near the secret mausoleum in All County without altering anyone. Although time was tight, he directly rashly approached the mausoleum by drawing the symbol and opening the door. Instead, he reached out his right hand and grabbed at the air in front of him. After 5 consecutive attempts, the muscles on his arms suddenly tightened as if he was pulling something extremely heavy. As he retracted his right hand, a figure quickly appeared. A figure? The figure's bronze color is fucking sick. Are you kidding me? The figure's skin was bronze in color. He had a medium build, black hair, brown eyes, and soft facial features. Beneath his right ear was a very thin, beautiful, masculine, gorgeous, stunning mole. It was none other than the beautiful, handsome Mr. Zik Eggers. Oh my god. However, unlike Mr. Zik that he knew, the figure that was all written, Grandpa Zik is back. I'm just saying that was actually written. That's canon. Mr. Beautiful, gorgeous, handsome, stunning, daddy looking Zik Eggers. However, unlike Mr. Zik that he knew, the figure's gaze was cold. Oh my god, it's OG Zik, dude. Oh, Grandpa Zik is back, dude. Oh shit. Yeah, I gotta put on both headphones. Earbuds. He wore a deep black robe embroidered with the golden threads. He wore a golden bird sharp crown as though he was looking down and at all living creatures. This is hype. This was the former Death Console, a former Sequence 2 angel. Without sizing him up further, Klein reacted out again and grabbed into the void. This time he didn't seem to have pulled anything out, but in fact he had summoned the former him from 10 seconds ago. The him who was in a concealed state. Then Klein threw a small metal bottle of projection, made himself enter the Grey Fog's historical void. In the past self, his consciousness suddenly came alive. In the past, his consciousness suddenly came alive and became extremely agile. This concealed Klein brought the projection of the Death Console. Dude, there are so many layers to this. What the fuck? This concealed Klein brought the projection of Death Console Zik and came to the secret mausoleum where the entrance couldn't be seen. He took out a small metal bottle and used his spirituality to draw with the blood that shimmered like the gems. In midair, he quickly outlined the symbol that Mr. Fool had given. The symbol rapidly formed and resonated with a particular point of the mausoleum, expanding into an illusionary door. In a concealed state, Klein and Death Console Zik Klein and Death Console Zik passed through the door and entered the corresponding secret mausoleum. At that moment, the guards inside had already discovered that there was an intruder and had activated the ritual they had prepared in advance. However, all they could see was the lofty Death Console. Somewhere in Backland, the former Duke of the Savoy, Delink Augustus, was just about to use a ritual to open a passageway and descend into the secret mausoleum when a man beside him suddenly frowned and said, "That's Zik Eggers. No, he is very rigid. It's like a historical projection summoned by the Secret Order Scholar of Yore." Come on, dude. This is hype. "Your Highness, let me go over. Stay here and be wary of the Scholar of Yore who's lurking in the dark. Although they aren't angels, they're quite troublesome." Just came back. Immediately hear Easy say, "Daddy is Zik peak." The Link Augustus was a slightly arrogant elder. His black hair was mixed with silver threads, and he was clean shaven. Upon hearing that, he laughed and said, "Isn't the Scholar of Yore just beside him? Although he's in his concealed state, I've already discovered him through the disorder of the surrounding area. He's misleading us, making us think that he's deliberately attaching with a historical projection where his true body has gone elsewhere. In fact, he's hidden beside a Zik's projection. Once this Death Console attracts the attention he wants, and when place our main forces elsewhere, he'll use the concealed state to approach the mausoleum and cause destruction." Damn, they're fucking smart. "Besides, regarding the reason, since he summoned an angel projection, you won't be able to kill the target in a short period of time, even if you carry a grade 0 shield artifact. If this implicates the mausoleum, our efforts and persistence would have been in vain. If that Scholar of Yore has done 3 levels of misdirection and really went to another mausoleum, he won't be able to summon an angel from the historical void. You can easily eliminate him." Ain't gonna be easy, bro. "You can easily eliminate him. While he said his first sentence, the Link Augustus had already entered the passageway through the ritual's activation. The rest of his words were spoken in the phantoms that he had left behind. Inside the secret mausoleum in All County, Zik Egger scanned the area with an indifferent expression. His body suddenly swelled and transformed into a giant serpent that covered the area above the mausoleum. This giant serpent was both illusionary and real, as though it was formed by something incomprehensible to humans. Its entire body was covered with huge dark green scales." Damn, this fucking sick. He's back. "While feathers grew out from the gaps, and each scale of feather had strange symbols of different shapes, just the mere sight of them made one's flesh decompose, turning them into zombies. This was Quetzalcoatl, the serpent spoken of the southern continent myth. His eye sockets were burning with pale white flames as exaggerated, thick pair of wings spread from his back." It's super easy, barely an inconvenience. Oh, Mr. Zik historical void projection is definitely much weaker than before, but it's still very powerful. It's still fucking strong, dude. As expected of the biological son of death, the console of the Balam Empire, although the concealed Klein had done a summoning experiment previously at sea, he never expected that the Zik's projection would be so powerful. He thought it was going to be weaker? At this moment, points of faint, gloomy glows flew out of the mausoleum, putting an end to the title like pale white flames in advancement. Following that, they formed a figure. It was none other than the sequence 2... I'm sorry, another one? Following that, they formed a figure. It was none other than the sequence 2 Balancer Delink Augustus. The moment the concealed client saw him, he suddenly turned rigid and stiff. He began acting based on instinct, a result of him returning to the historical void and begin outside the secret mausoleum. Then he teleported to a secret mausoleum under the Tussock River and took out another small metal bottle. In a concealed state, he used his spirituality to draw the blood out to outline the symbol. A few seconds later, the symbol resonated and turned into a door. With his marionette, Conus and Uni had walked in. Of course, in the river of the forest outside, he still had marionettes he had just converted. A figure appeared near the ruins number 1 in the outskirts of Backland. Her raven hair was radiant, and outside her face was slightly round. She looked beautiful with a hint of sweetness and an outstanding bearing. Demoness Trissy. She was none other than Demoness Trissy. After Trissy approached ruin number 1, she also took out a small metal bottle and drew the symbol provided by Mr. Door with the blood. An illusory door rapidly took shape. All right, let's go, bro. Oh, shit. All the pieces are falling into place. Chapter 1146 is called A Real Charlatan. Okay. 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 I'm fucking hyped. Dude. I'm fucking losing control over here. Ooh, shit. I'm fucking going crazy. I'm fucking going crazy, guys. I'll go fucking crazy. This shit's fucking good, man. Thank you, guys. There's like 50 guys here. Oh, shit. This is getting fucking hyped. Chapter 1146 is called A Real Charlatan. As she passed through the illusion door, Trissy hit herself and jumped down the cliff at the entrance towards the dark valley below. The secret mausoleum that originated from the Blood Emperor Tutor was hidden here. During the descent, Trissy's body was as light as a feather. She lost most of her weight, but her speed was in no way slow. None of the remaining guards noticed that she had sneaked in. Just as Trissy was approaching her target, she heard a voice say, "Concealment is prohibited here." Trissy's figure instantly appeared out of nowhere. And the area above the power mausoleum in the dark alley, there was a man who had appeared at some point in time. This man had a long rectangular face with a white hairband on his head. He had a mustache that curled up and about the mouth, and his brows were extremely thick, setting off a relatively large eyes. He was dressed in a formal attire and wore a cloak. His tips, I see it, George III. The tips of his shoes, I see the line under. The tips of his shoes were extremely long, and his attire didn't seem to match the times. He was the demigod who supported George... Oh, it's not George III. He was the demigod who supported George III, Prince Grove. On the head of this signature Chaos Hunter, there was a crown made of thorns. Pure light constantly gathered, and the crown interweaved into a sea. What the fuck is up with all these sealed artifacts? We're getting all the zeros? Sealed artifact 036. Klein swarmed beneath the Tussock River when an image suddenly appeared in his mind. Just as he led his marionette, Conus and Uni, through the illusory door. Invoke, okay? A black cathedral stood in front of them with a spacious door open, revealing a man in pair dungarees, a gentleman in a formal suit and top hat, a lady with frilly designs along her sleeves, and a lady whose dress was formed with flowers with laces. They were suspended in midair, motionless. Caw, caw, caw. Black ravens circled the top of the cathedral, letting out heart-stopping circles. I feel like I'm watching the Demon Slayer movie again. The fucking black ravens over here. It's an angel family, bro. What do you think? That's true. They're all gonna have a shitload of sealed artifacts. Yeah, you're right. Black ravens circled around the top of the cathedral, letting out a heart-stopping cries. Without making any guesses, Klein felt that he had fallen into a crack of a frozen lake. His body turned cold as his hair stood on end. Countless thoughts surged in his mind as they collectively shouted out a name. Zaratul. He's here? In the blink of an eye, Klein instinctively made a decision. He planned to switch location with his marionette from the outside world and directly leave the cathedral in front of him. Clearly, he had encountered a miracle. He didn't enter George III's secret mausoleum after passing through the illusory door. Instead, he had come to a baffling place. In the next second, he discovered that the spirit body threads were connected to his marionettes had been severed. They were rapidly floating upwards towards the interior of the pitch-black cathedral. If it wasn't for his intuition, they exceeded his own level, allowing him to detect danger ahead of time. He definitely wouldn't have been able to react in time. He definitely would have been able to hung up and become a member... He definitely would have been hung up and become a member of his marionettes. Oh, shit, dude. Bro, just read the description of his cathedral and everything. What do you mean? And everything. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What I mean? Or what do you mean? What do you mean? Just read the description of his cathedral and everything. What do you mean? He didn't have the time to think too much about it. He quickly controlled his spirit body threads and collected them himself, forming one circle, like a circle of inevitability. I see the reference here. This allowed him to temporarily extract himself from the danger, but it also made him lose his marionettes, Conus and Uni. In just a second, the two marionettes' necks suddenly tightened as they were lifted up by an invisible hand before being hung up in the cathedral interior, just like that. No, I'm getting excited, bro. But okay, I get the mausoleum was like a black cathedral with all the black ravens flowing around. This allowed him to temporarily extract circle inevitability. We'll get to it. This allowed him to temporarily extract himself. Let me read slow. I am getting excited. I am getting a little too excited. I gotta chill. This allowed him to temporarily extract himself from the danger, but it also made him lose his marionettes, Conus and Uni, in just seconds. The two marionettes' necks suddenly tightened as they were lifted up by an invisible hand before being hung up in the cathedral interior. Together with the original corpses, they swayed in the wind and produced voices that weren't different but said the exact same thing. Welcome back. Wait! It's not the same. What? The cathedral from Foggy Town? Wait, hold up. I wouldn't have been able to piece that together. Wait. Foggy Town, when they went to the cathedral, wait, when they were in the cathedral, it also had black ravens. Divas Aleph. There were also black ravens flying around them, right? Or like crows. I remember that. There were a shitload of birds circling the cathedral. I do remember that. Welcome back. Oh, okay, I see it now. Welcome back. That's where it reviews. Welcome back. For people like me that don't understand. 50 people thank you over here, dude. Welcome back. In Memorial Square, the imagined King Stord was still giving a speech. Bro. Mono, thank you for being a level 2. Thank you for joining our members. You can now spam all these badass emotes. In the Memorial Square, the imagined King George III was still giving a speech. I will further lower the wealth requirements needed for the electrician eligibility. I will hand over more rights to the House of Commons. Although the people didn't understand why there was such a development in the speech, it sounded good to them. There are still bills that have been approved by the House of Lords, but there's still no need to tell the public during this speech. It's like the king emphasizing that he was definitely following those bills in the future. Audrey was puzzled, but she couldn't come up with a convincing explanation. In the dark and majestic secret ruins number 1 in the outskirts of Backland, the real George III had already worn a black crown and consumed the potion. Oh shit, here we go, Black Emperor. His body was transforming towards the shadow of order, extending into a magical state. As for the 9 mausoleums, they were the islands and the sea of the northernest. They were the components of his entire rule. As for the people who were chanting Emperor George III at the same time during the ritual, they were like the countless numbers of lighthouses. This is the second time we've read lighthouses this chapter. Lock in. I feel like I can't get any ads for this. I'm sorry. I always have balance ads on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is sick. Lighthouses has been brought up a lot of times. I'll tell you that much. I feel like a lighthouse is going to be very important in the future. Together, they anchored this ruler of Loan, East Spalum, and the Roasted Archipelago, making him completely transcend reality and become a part of the Shadow of Order. I'm sorry. These are going to be Klein's anchors. Like several kinds of lighthouse-like things. Okay. During this process, George III's thought wandered uncontrollably as though they were being torn apart. The Secret Order Zartul actually contacted me directly, hoping to provide me with help. He said he saw some... Wait, he said... There's a lot of layers to that. The Secret Order Zartul actually contacted me directly, hoping to provide me with help. He said that he saw some of Germansparrow's thoughts from the Capum case, the attack of Ailment Maiden, the silencing of Crazy Captain, the Conus Kilgur's disappearance, and his divination results made him cooperate with me, offering to help me guard a mausoleum. He saw all of that. There, he waited for Germansparrow to take the initiative to walk to him because of his own goals and the law of convergence of beyond characteristics. He also said that the most important thing to do when dealing with a qualified demigod of the seer pathway is to be patient and determined. What a charlatan, just like Klein. What a charlatan. He even brought Abomination Sua. I used my powers to sign a contract with them, together with the helpers I invited from the Twilight Hermit Order, as well as a grove, who wields a grade 0 sealed artifact, even if most of the demigods of the military and royal families are fighting in the front lines or protecting backland. I don't have to worry about the rituals being destroyed unless a true deity descends into the real world. And that's impossible, so I originally wanted to use this opportunity to lure out any resistance, but in the end, I decided to use this opportunity to directly advance. Since Grove still doesn't know about these hidden cards, well, he has no right to know. In less than 2 minutes, I'll become an eternal god of the Black Emperor who rules over the fucking Black Emperor who rules over reality. Ka. In the dark world, with ravens cawing, the corpses hanging from the black top of the church descended and passed through the main door. Their eyes were locked onto Klein, who was outside. Oh, shit. I'm not ready? What do you mean? I've always been ready. Almost at the same time, yo, you guys are getting me a little excited. You guys gotta chill, dude. Hold up. Almost at the same time, a figure slowly but firmly outlined itself in midair. Without caring about what it was, Klein quickly snapped his fingers while maintaining the special state of his spirit body threads. Pa. A red flame surged out from his wallet. It instantly enveloped him. The flame was quickly extinguished, and Klein remained where he was, unable to leap out. He didn't show any signs of being depressed, and he immediately activated creeping hunger to attempt to teleport. Klein instantly turned transparent as he appeared again, unable to take a single step. His origin and destination had strangely been connected. At that moment, the figure in midair had already taken form. He was dressed in gorgeous clothes with long chestnut-colored curly hair, blue eyes, high nose, brigand and thin lips. He was none other... Roselle? Roselle is here? He was none other than Rizzo Gustav from when he was an emperor. He looked down at Klein as... They're directly looking at each other. That is so cool. Historical void result? Dude, this is so... It's so badass, though, that he, like, actually directly looks at him, dude. And now you have two black emperors in, like, the same scene. Oh, shit. Well, you can only have one. He looked down at Klein as countless illusory symbols appeared in his eyes. Klein's mind instantly swelled as he injected with a large amount of unknown knowledge. His head felt like it was exploding in an instant, while his other thoughts were completely occupied, so much so that he couldn't even lift a finger. Instinctively, he allowed the knowledge to split up and become injected into the 600 worms. And become injected into hundreds of worms of spirit. This allowed him to regain his ability to control his body and quickly grab the space ahead of him with his right hand. His arm suddenly sank, and then he suddenly pulled back. When the marionettes passed through the cathedral door and began their attacks, another two figures appeared in midair, dragging out a scaleless, silvery white tail. As he released his right hand, a giant serpent appeared in the dark dungeon. Holy shit, in the dark kingdom. His eyes were bright red and cold, his body was covered in patterns and symbols. There were countless wheels and details. Snake of Fate. Oh my god, Snake of Fate Ouroboros. Wait, Snake of Fate, right? Ouroboros? This is the version of Rizzo that was on the planter pathway? Wait, it's a different one. I forget it was planter. Wait. Snake of Fate? Actually, this wasn't something that Klein could summon out from the historical void. Instead, it was Will Ossipton descending. I'm stupid. It's not Snake of Fate Ouroboros. Tell Devourer Ouroboros. I'm stupid. Snake of Fate, Will Ossipton. It was Will Ossipton descending with the burning of the paper crane after using Yesterday Once More charm. Okay, and he gains his prior strength. Klein had used Flaming Jump moments ago to seek help from the Snake of Fate. And the reason why he wanted to grab at something was to conceal his true intentions. It was to prevent the opposing angel from discovering the location of the Snake of Fate, putting Dr. Aaron's family in danger. Roselle Planter, yeah, checks out. Sequence 1, Emperor Roselle. Snake of Fate putting Dr. Aaron's family in danger. This wasn't like how he had previously dealt with Amon's avatar back then, and he had no confidence in eliminating all the clues. Therefore, he had discussed with Will in advance on how to deal with such situations. Fortunately, the intent Will Ossipton expressed indicated the truth of the summoning from before he had been exposed. At that moment, the gigantic Snake of Fate of Snake of Mercury rose up and bit its tail, turning into a mysterious and exaggerated wheel. In midair, two figures appeared on both sides of Roselle's projection. One of them was Queen Mystic Bernadette, whose real body was in an intense battle with Sequence 1 Hand of Order Will Augustus. The other was formed from the pure light, and a pair of shining wings grew on its back. It's obviously at the level of an angel. Of course, he would read unhinged. What? I was lying. He was the demoness pathway. Remember the tease? It ain't that bad. It ain't that bad, brother. Suddenly, the two angel projections that appeared quickly vanished. The attacks The attacks they directed at Klein and the controlled marionettes retreated back into the cathedral and were hung up again. Codis and Uni walked out one after another. With him, they passed backwards through the illusioning door and left the world with a reasoning calling appearing beneath the tussock rivers. Snake of Fate reboot? The giant serpent's figure vanished as well. Without any hesitation, Klein activated teleportation, passed through the countless spirit world creatures to another secret mausoleum, and we're already at another one. Passed through another secret mausoleum, and you didn't say sequence 2? He used the remaining blood to outline the symbols and open the illusionary door. This time he entered the interior and saw a solemn and dark mausoleum. He summoned the Sea God Scepter. Klein is so strong. He has so much shit in his arsenal. He's literally John Wick, but like with mysticism. He summoned the Sea God Scepter and released a terrifying lightning storm again and again, destroying the target. Then he turned around and left the scene. Everything went so smoothly, just like a dream. Yes, a beautiful dream. Klein, who could always maintain his lucidity in dreams, had to realize that he was in a real dream created by someone else the moment he entered the ruins where the secret mausoleum was. Chaos? That's a pretty big title drop. Lads, do we have only one mod on stream? Yes. I think we do. I think it's Cammy. I'm getting sweaty. I'm getting sweaty. Cammy's laying down the law, man. He's ready. Cammy's like, and I ain't scared of ban, perma ban. He's like, I ain't scared of perma ban. Cammy's a strict guy. Don't risk it. Don't risk it. Cammy's a strict dude. He's like, I ain't afraid, bro. I ain't afraid. I'll do a fucking perma ban. He's like, try me. Cammy's like, try me, dude. Cammy's like, I ain't scared. I'll fucking do it. Oh shit. Let's keep reading. You're actually not ready? Let me hydrate. I am ready. Let me hydrate. I am ready. Oh, Cammy ain't playing, dude. He's like, try me. Oh, okay. All right. 1,147 is called Chaos. That's not good. A god is going to descend. All right. Klein pretended. Oh, last time we saw something very chaotic. The other fancy bottle is right here. If you are reading this, you're stalling. No, I'm hydrating. We gotta read fancy water today. Read what the fuck? We gotta read fancy water. We gotta drink fancy water. Lock in. Klein pretended not to notice a real dream, as if he tried to stop his projection of the death console. He tried to summon another version of himself from the historical void to focus the guards on the Tudor ruins, allowing his body to escape his self-projection and a... Let me lower the volume just a smidge. Lower the projection in a concealed state was another. He couldn't be certain if the leader was the ascetics Ariana was considered one. However, to be safe, he had to disperse one of them before he made another summoning attempt. Regarding Ariana's state, apart from the suspecting that she had descended in person due to her state, Klein had other theories. Perhaps the leader of the Evernight Cloister had deliberately entered a concealed state after sensing that her projection from the past had... Her projection from the past. My god, there's so many layers to this, man. Oh, these fights are getting kind of confusing. She had vanished from the real world, allowing the projection to gain weight. Let me read this. Regarding Ariana's state, apart from suspecting that she had descended in person due to her state, Klein had other theories. Perhaps the leader of the Evernight Cloister had deliberately entered a concealed state after sensing that her projection from the past had been summoned while being located in a Mantha mountain range. She vanished from the real world, allowing the projection to gain sentience. Yes, because only the real body or the projection could gain sentience. This was completely feasible, especially since the authority of the concealment likely gave her a certain degree of control over her historical projection. Least complex angel battle? Bro, get out of here. There's no shot. When it came to a concealment angel like this, Klein was unable to use the feedback from Scholar of Yore's maintenance of the historical projection. I feel like my armpit's starting to get sweaty. Of the historical projection to confirm her true situation. Therefore, he didn't make any changes so as to prevent any accidentals from happening. Just as he was about to summon his past self, the real dream silently disappeared. Everything around him returned to normal. He was standing on a cliff at the entrance below him with a dark, majestic mausoleum. An old man with an ordinary appearance was levitating in mid-air under... It's fucking Zaratul. An old man with an ordinary appearance was levitating in mid-air under the glow from the moss and the light from the stone pillars inside the cliff. He calmly looked at Klein inside an ancient faceic. You weren't actually fooled by the dream I crafted. Basically, there can only be one real person at a time. If projection is summoned, the main body can sense it under... Oh, the main body senses it. The main body can sense it under certain circumstances and hide themselves so the projection becomes real. Yeah, and that's how the projection gains sentience. Wait, what's the final chapter in this volume? 150. 150. We're almost there. The old man's hair was completely white, but it was thick enough. There weren't many wrinkles on his face, and his appearance wasn't anything special. The Spectator Pathway Sequence 3 Dreamwalker. No, at least he's not an angel. Klein tensed up and didn't respond. He merely took out his Silver Adventures harmonica and blew into it. Okay, with summoning Renette. No sound was produced, but Renette Tanker, who was wearing a dark and complicated long dress, walked out. One of the blonde red-eye heads in her hands immediately spat out a rectangular diamond-like charm. Another head chanted an ancient Hermes yesterday. Oh, yesterday, once more charm. Miss Messenger was borrowing strength from her past self. Compared to the Sequence 1 Snake of Fate, the power she borrowed could last longer. However, the charm didn't change at all. In mid-air, the elder in gray robe gently chuckled and kindly reminded them, don't use ancient Hermes in front of me. Hermes. This is Hermes? This is Hermes, the one who lived since the second epoch and created ancient Hermes, an angel of the Spectator Pathway, the origin of the psychology alchemist. Klein was first shocked before he realized something. Hermes was participating in the battle, so it was unlikely he had a strong desire to stop him. No, perhaps he is deliberating, acting to lower our guard. Beyonders of the Spectator Pathway are the best at manipulating the hearts of others. Just as his thoughts flashed through his mind, Renette Tanker, other two heads began chanting in Jotun and Elvish. Yesterday, how dare you use my power against me? The rectangular diamond-like charm was instantly ignited by a transparent flame before fusing with the void. What the fuck? The rectangular diamond-like charm was instantly ignited by transparent flames before fusing with the void. Renette Tanker's body began to rapidly expand as the four heads in her head flew up and landed on her neck. The four heads became illusionary one after another and then become one. In an instant, Renette Tanker transformed into a huge cloth dog that oh shit! It's her huge form! In an instant, Renette Tanker fuck, she's huge! Renette Tanker transformed into a huge cloth doll that resembled a castle. She was dressed in a black... Oh my god, this was when we saw her in the spirit world for the first time, way back then. She was dressed in a black gothic dress with countless mysterious symbols and sinister vines. Her eyes were blood red. She swept her gaze across the ancient Hermes. Wow, man, I feel like we're fighting kaijus right now, dude. She opened her tightly shut mouth but didn't make a single sound. The Spectator Pathway angel flashed with a faint light, turning into a plump white rabbit. Ancient Bane transformation curse. Ancient Bane? The form she had on the first time? Yeah, okay. Wow, this is fucking sick. Ancient Bane transformation curse. The rabbit didn't panic at all. Its body began to swell, becoming half the size of it's a big ass rabbit. Half the size of a mountain. One stomp was sufficient to trample him to death. To an angel of the Spectator Pathway, merely believing in their strength allowed them... I'm sorry. Merely believing in their strength allowed them to power enough without being at a disadvantage due to their appearance. So it's like the power of friendship, but like not in a cliche way. Okay. As the rabbit turned into a monster, by the way, I also love that cliche. I love it. I love Kingdom Hearts. I love that cliche. Power of friendship prevails everything. I love that, by the way. I'm not dissing. The rabbit didn't panic at all. Its body began to swell, becoming half the size of a mountain. One stomp was sufficient to trample him to death. To an angel of the Spectator Pathway, merely believing in their strength allowed them to be powerful enough without being at a disadvantage due to their appearance. As for the rabbit turned into a monster, a subtle change happened in the ruins. Reality and illusionary interweaved, making Renette Tanker a little confused as to whether she was in a dream or in the real world. Klein could differentiate between the two when he noticed that not only was Miss Messenger in a mythical creature form, but the surface of the rabbit's body was covered in grayish-white scales, all sorts of patterns interweaved together, forming three-dimensional symbols that seemed to connect to the mind. Angels are truly terrifying. They used their complete mythical creature form at the right. As Klein's side, he didn't even dare to take a second look to gain more knowledge. Firstly, he didn't have the time to do so, and secondly, his level wasn't even high enough. He ain't even ready. Seeing a completely mythical creature form would definitely lead to being affected after receiving some negative effects. This was something he had to avoid in a dangerous battlefield. Be careful of the spectator, and Mr. Door said. Oh, he did say that. And be careful of spectator, yeah? Taking advantage of the battle between Miss Messenger and the gigantic rabbit that he had transformed into a dragon, Klein used a strong wind to head... Oh my god, man. This is getting overwhelming, man. There's so much. Taking advantage of the battle between Miss Messenger and a gigantic rabbit that had transformed into a dragon, Klein used the strong winds to head for the secret mausoleum. As he recited... How is this the least complicated angel fight, man? Oh my god. As he recited a particular honorific name in Jotun, he reached out to grab at the air. First time failure, second time failure, third time still a failure. Just as one fat white rabbit after another appeared in Klein's island of consciousness, causing him to elevate his consciousness to fight back and unable to take multiple things into consideration, he instinctively reached out his right hand and finally touched a particular image in the historical void. As he pulled back his arm, the image quickly outlined itself. She was a woman wearing a dark colored robe and white hood. Dark colored robe and a white hood. She had a beautiful face and slightly dull face. This was the concealment angel of the Church of... I'm sorry, 0017? This was the concealment angel of the Church of the Evernight that he had met before. Later, he found out that in Foggy Town that this was the mother of the sky, the daughter... Oh, sorry, he can just... She's here. Alright. Might as well. What else is gonna happen? Fuck, bring Evernight Goddess while we're at it, dude. Since he was able to successfully summon the ascetic leader, Ariana, from the historical void in one try, and Klein definitely thought of trying to see if he could summon her. I'm sorry, we can just summon them now? He had been chanting the honorific name of the Evernight Goddess. The employing of the historical void projections by the scholar of Yore had a difficult to overcome restriction. It was that he was unable to summon something that involved the uniqueness. However, objects that were merely a vessel of a deity's descent... Objects that were merely a vessel of a deity's descent depended on how much the deity's power was carried by the corresponding. How do you undo timeout? Actually, don't know. We'll look into it. We'll look into it. Wait, who did we time out? Uniqueness, objects that were merely... Let's look at it once we finish this chapter. My bad, bro. Sorry, we'll look at it once the chapter's over. It was he was unable to summon something that involved the uniqueness. However, objects that were merely a vessel of a deity's descent depended on how much of the deity's power. We'll fix it, son. We'll fix it. I got you. Let's finish this chapter. We'll get to it. Deity's power was carried out by the corresponding historical void projection, or if it was involved in uniqueness. Similarly, if he wanted to summon him on, it was impossible to summon the actual body, but an avatar would wear. And by the way, I'm not laughing that Zen is timed out. That happened to me before, and I was very heartbroken. That was accidentally timed out. We'll freeze Zen. We're gonna freeze Zen. To be safe, the person who he summoned was the one who had smiled at him during the Great Smog of Backland, and he succeeded after 3 attempts. I can't believe, man, from fucking Volume 2, the one that fucking smiled at him. Of course, if it wasn't for the goddess' tactful approval, or perhaps providing some level of help, he might not have succeeded giving. He might not have succeeded given 100 attempts, 1,000 attempts, or even 10,000 attempts. The beautiful lady didn't look at him, the summoner. Instead, she turned her head and looked down at the secret mausoleum. Dude, who else can we summon now? The entire underground ruin quaked as the dark and majestic mausoleum began to shake. Ripples appeared as though it was about to be moved into a concealed state. At this moment, 2 arms extended out from the outside world. One was pressed towards the gigantic doll, Renette Tanker, while the other spread out its fingers to grab Klein. These 2 arms were more than 10 meters long, 30 feet long. They were pitch black on the surface, falling with sticky liquid. Some of them were strangely protruded chaos. Some of them were strangely protruding. Some had skull-ass heads, three-dimensional eyes, or barbed tongues. Abomination Sua. Summon Rosago here, clear. That's fucking funny, dude. That's fucking funny, Beck. The remaining guards and the underground ruins went crazy. I'm going crazy. We're going crazy. Some raised their swords to kill the companions. Others raised their guns, aimed at themselves, and pulled the trigger. Hoksua, dude. They raised the guns and aimed at the thumbs and pulled the trigger. Oh, they're like, oh, hell no. Klein's skin began to crack and his skin is cracking. Klein's skin began to crack and his consciousness was disturbed by a sensation of madness. He was unable to respond effectively. The concealment angel he summoned retracted her gaze through the pure instinct, and she looked up at the two arms that seemed to come from the depths of a nightmare. Tremendous fear caused Sua's arm to tremble slightly. Not only did he fail to grab a hold of Klein, he even cursed Renette Tanker, causing him to be covered in green fur. Immediately following that, they began to fade away as they struggled with an altar and their might, trying to escape their concealed state. Okay. At this moment, three figures appeared in midair. Okay, three figures. Visualize. I'm trying to visualize, Kami. Three figures appeared in midair in the underground ruins. There were Emperor Rizzo, the first Lowen King, Will Augustus, and the abstract angel 4 from Pure Light. Wait, that's 4. They were Emperor Rizzo, the first Lowen King, Willem Augustus, and the abstract angel formed from Pure Light. The historical void projection summoned by Zaratul was followed closely behind him. With so many angels descending, what the fuck is going on, man? With so many angels descending at the same time, just the effects from their auras alone caused the entire space to quake, not to mention the intense battle they were engaged in. In an instant, the pitch-black mausoleum shook even more vigorously. There was even an obvious crack on its surface. Klein wasn't surprised at all because this was all his last contingency plan. I'm sorry, did Bernadette make her wish or no? She has not made a wish, right? Next time, I'll delete messages and time out after confirming it's spoilery. Sorry, bro. No, it's okay. Well, I got you. We'll look at it right now. We're like a page and a half. When the enemy was too powerful and prepared, preventing him from creating an opportunity, then it was best to draw everyone together while destroying the mausoleum, thus creating chaos. This was the inspiration he got from the encounter outside Bayam City. And I thought the Volume 3 finale was chaotic, dude. Back then, Abomination Sua and the byproduct of the Artificial Death Project attacked remotely while Sea King Coatman, mismentioned Renette Tinker, and a demigod from the Rose School of Thought had participated. Oh, and is bringing that up. Had participated, resulting in the collapse of an innocent mountain. At that moment, Klein wanted the secret mausoleums and the ruin to be like the mountain. He didn't believe that the angels could control the damage to their surroundings while in an intense battle. And the lineup this time far exceeded the previous one. It's still not enough. Then let's make it a little more chaotic. If he controlled his spirit body threats to prevent them from floating upwards, he dodged and sensed the mysterious space above the great fog. Using his basic control over it, he made it tremble slightly in midair. A grayish-white fog appeared at the majestic palace. We're summoning the gray fog? It's like Volume 3, just 100 times. In midair, a grayish-white fog appeared at the majestic palace, appeared faintly. I'm sorry, so in terms of projections, we have a total of 6 angel projections. We have George III, Sua, Klein. So that's 9 total people. What else am I missing? Sephirah Castle. Oh, shit. In an instant, the sky above the Holy Wind Cathedral in Backland turned dark. I'm sorry. In Backland? Now it's like actually manifested. In an instant, the sky above the Holy Wind Cathedral in Backland turned dark, as if the storms were brewing. A bird with dark eyes circled, watching over the Tussock River downside, moved its gaze. And the outskirts of Backland, where ruins number 1 was Demoness Trissy, had been robbed of several powers that suffered serious injuries. She was on the brink. Why the fuck is she on the brink of death? She was on the brink of death. Bang. She slammed against the cliff, almost embedding herself into it. Blood was everywhere. At this moment, she took out an item. It was a rectangular diamond sharp charm. Okay, we're good. Yesterday, once more. Like, she can't die until she joins the club, man. Not late. All right, let's keep reading, man. Wait, first, let's look into Zen, just to be sure. Wait, is Zen still silenced? Let's look into it. I got you. Let me do my timestamp. 2 hours. I'm losing my fucking voice, man. I need to chill. She fighting an angel on her own, bro. Of course she's in trouble. You're right. All right, let's see Zen. No, wait, Zen has been untimed out. Right? I did it for 10 minutes. You should have like 4 minutes left. All right, let me see it. Let's see if I can override it just to be safe. Put user in timeout for 10 seconds. And then I can untime it. Oh, it just... Okay. I think we're good. I'm going to try to hide him from channel and you take him off the hidden thing. Wait, I actually don't even know how to look into that. Wait, I got it. He is my first time catching you live. Maybe he just left stream, LMAO. He's like, I'll come back. If it still happens next time, I'll just... what if I make him a mod and then unmod him? I'll think about it. Okay, we'll see. We'll see if he comes back in like 4 or 5 minutes. Cammy unjustly jolty, man. Temporarily. It's like SpongeBob. All right. Don't do the crime. You want to do the time. All right, next chapter. 3 more chapters. Make me a mod. Do it. I got it. I got you unhinged. Ready? You get a mod for like 2 seconds. Ready? No, I'm kidding. Hold on. Let's finish first. Let's finish first before we keep stalling. Let me hydrate. Here we go. Chapter 1148 is called Not Late. I said not latte, not late. There were very few chances to use charms in high-level battles. No one would take the initiative to leave an opening for their opponent. Everything's updated? Yes. No one would take the initiative to leave an opening for their opponent while they chanted the incantation. The reason Tracy was able to complete the corresponding action was because she had ignited the wicked black flames from the inside out. As for the black flames, they seemed to be absorbed all the heat and surrounding the area, causing the thick ice crystals to form. Beyond the ice crystal, there were almost invisible spider webs that wrapped around them, forming huge cocoons. Relying on the 3 layers of defense, Tracy managed to buy almost all 2 seconds. She took out the rectangular diamond-shaped charm and chanted yesterday. The transparent flames ignited amidst the wicked black flames. The diamond-like charm suddenly disintegrated before merging with the void. This was something Klein had specifically provided to the demoness so as to allow the damage from the 3 prongs to become the main assault point at any time. Tracy immediately saw the grayish-white fog and realized that the scenes in the past were like the stars, densely packed together. They were scenes of the young him wandering the streets, coming under the control of the mafia, swindling, cheating, and stealing from others. He later joined the Theosophy Order and became an assassin. Therefore, he enjoyed ending lives in the bloodshed, instigating others to tear off their mask and reveal their true bestial nature. Due to the various reasons, he had no choice but to become a witch. She began creating catastrophes, and it was arranged by the demoness of pleasure that she would become the Prince Etzek's mistress. Realizing that she was becoming less and less like herself and that she was slowly losing herself to the pleasure, she felt extreme fear and yearned to escape. However, having fallen deeper into the hell, she experienced immense pain and chose to be extreme. She chose to be extreme. With a thought, the scenes magnified and occupied her entire vision. Under the light, the lawn outside of the window was bright and the horses were walking slowly. The holes of the golf course could still be vaguely seen, and inside of the house there was an antique cabinet blocking the view of the door. The past Tracy stood at the edge and looked outside, wearing sapphire rings on her left hand. At this time, she wasn't even a sequence 5, and she didn't have the strength or the current her needed to borrow. However, she had a ring from the demoness sect, and she was closely related to the primordial demoness. The ring was the thing that Tracy wanted to borrow. All of a sudden, the intricate ring that was inlaid with sapphire gem appeared on Tracy's pinky, and unlike in the past, the present Tracy had fused with a mark that submitted to the primordial demoness. She had been greatly enhanced as a sequence 4 demigod. In other words, even though she wasn't a robust deity's descent vessel, I'm sorry. Holy shit, the more we say that, it's like the primordial demoness is going to use Tracy to descend. She's going to use her as a vessel. In other words, even though she wasn't a robust deity's descent vessel, she already had the qualification to be one. and that sapphire ring allowed her to temporarily grasp a certain amount of initiative. Looking at the scenes in the past, the cocoon formed by Trissie's spider silk cracked inch by inch, and the thick ice crystals silently melted as the wicked black flames corroded. She raised her left hand, closed her eyes, and smiled as she placed the sapphire ring between her eyebrows. The ring melted like metal as it flowed into Trissie's head in a surreal manner. At that moment, the wicked black flames were completely deprived by the Prince Grizelve, and a burning white sphere of light shouted out. At the front of the spear, two pure white wings spread out as they embraced by the tips of the spear like an angel sealing off the surrounding space and preventing the target from escaping. That was a long-ass chapter. At that moment, Trissie opened her eyes. There were a deep black color. Her hair flared up one by one, each becoming as thick as a snake. Medusa? The outer layer was slippery and I'm sorry, Demoness Trissie? Fucking Demoness Trissie. Primordial Demoness. She had hair. And the white marble statue from season 1. The outer layers were slippery and diabolical. Oh, and that's what she was able to summon the snake in the episode. I was confused. The outer layer was slippery and diabolical with clear black and white eyes embedded at the end of the head that looked like venomous snakes. Their mouths were slightly open as they flicked their tongues. The spear that were condensed from pure light stopped in front of Trissie as though it was being pressed down by the invisible hand, making it difficult for it to advance even an inch further. She had snakes on her hair. I'm free? Oh, welcome back, Zen. Thick? You know what else is thick? My love and passion for this series. It quickly turned grayish-white in color, turning from incorporeal to corporeal as if it were carved out of stone. Oh. With a whoosh, the spear rapidly plummeted to the edge of the cliff, shattering into countless tiny pieces, literally like Medusa. It turns into... I like it. The grayish-white color around Trissie rapidly spread out as in every direction, as if she had a life of its own. Whenever it passed, the stones became hard while everything else turned to stone, just like freaking Medusa. The various rituals had been set up in ruin number 1 were now tainted with grayish-white colors, preventing an angels guarding the other secret mausoleums from discovering the changes and coming over immediately. Prince Grove was instantly surrounded by the grayish-white aura that emitted out of the void. With him only being capable of using the Crown of Thorns to maintain a small safe zone, there's no way for him to use any prohibition power. Something happened? Oh, it's happening. Something's coming. Trissie, whose eyes had no borders marking her whites from blacks, didn't even look at her opponent. With her snake-like hair blotting out of the sky, she took a step towards the secret mausoleum at the bottom of the dark valley. Boom. The ground began to shake violently as a dull thud sounded from deep within. Asteroids are coming back. Red asteroids with fiery tails appeared out of nowhere as they flew past the Demoness. Huh. Okay. All right, we're good. But the ground began to shake violently as a dull thud sounded from deep within. Red asteroids with fiery tails appeared out of nowhere as they flew past Demoness Trissie and smashed the mausoleum. In an instant, the ruins were inundated with the catastrophes. George III, who was at the critical moment of his advancement, sensed this and immediately felt a strong sense of confusion and anger. Trissie summoning asteroids down, literally just like Volume 2. With great, remember how she was escaping when the asteroids fall? Now she's the one summoning them. With great difficulty, he split off some of his strength, and with the help of the preparations he had put in place, he forcefully distorted the surrounding areas and isolated the... There's so many layers right now, bro. Like, you gotta do this to do this. This is hard to follow. He forcefully distorted the surrounding area and isolated the dark, solemn, secret mausoleum from the real world. So now they're separated, preventing earthquakes and meteors from appearing the target. Boom, boom. Amidst all kinds of catastrophes, the cliff crumbled one by one and ruins began to collapse. George III's angry voice sounded from the secret mausoleum that formed from a world of its own. Are you mad? For a sequence 4 to forcefully accept the power of a true deity, the only outcome was death? They're trying to stop a sequence. No, I know, but like, it's so hard to wrap my head around this. It's like, it's hard to follow, but like, it's like, I'm like at the border of getting it. For a sequence 4 to forcefully accept the power of a true deity, the only outcome was death. Trissie laughed. The skin on her face had been pushed to its limit. Inch by inch, they crumbled, revealing the blood and... I'm sorry, is she dying? the blood and flesh that was squirming wildly underneath. This extremely terrifying demoness scoffed and said, "Isn't the ending of a lovely story supposed to have all the bad guys die? For example, you or me?" Before Trissy could finish her sentence, she wore the tragic smile on her face as the asteroid plummeted into the twisted secret mausoleum and a bit to destroy. She fucking drop an asteroid on the mausoleum. Boom. In another mausoleum, Klein didn't put on a strong front. He quickly ended the connection with Sephirah Castle as though he was praying to the fool for help. The commotion from before had nearly caused all the angels present to stop. Unfortunately, the concealment angel Klein had summoned was a historical void projection. It only continued fighting based on instinct, turning the situation even more chaotic. We're barely halfway through the chapter. This is a long-ass chapter. At this moment, William Augustus' first projection pulled out a silver sword and pointed ahead before slicing downward. There was no need for him to say anything. The chaos in the ruin came to a stop as the battlefield was divided into different sections. Hermes faced the beautiful and impassive lady. Abomination Sua suppressed Renette Tanker, the historical void projections of Emperor Rizal, and the Angel of Light surrounding Klein. William I stood up at the isolated spot, ensuring that none of the aftershocks attacked the mausoleum below. As expected of the Hand of Order, Klein's pupils dilated. Without thinking, he reached his right hand into the inner pocket of his clothes, and he stretched out his left hand to borrow strength from his past self. The Death Console, the Evernight Cloister, the Matreon, and the Concealment Angel were figures that exceeded Klein's own level. Be it summoning or maintaining them, it was a terrible burden on his spirituality. He even had no choice but to borrow some power from his past self before his spirituality completely dried up. Damn. This way, he was filled with fake spirituality once more. For the next 5 minutes, it was no different from real spirituality. Then Klein saw light. He saw light. In the bright white sea of light, something suddenly appeared. It rapidly plummeted and approached the secret mausoleum. It was a dark-colored book that consisted of goat skin. Grizel's travels, using his ability to split into worms of time and his enhanced ability to shapeshift, he shrank into bookmarks? The fuck? I don't get it, Zen. How does he come up with this? He shrank into bookshelves made of flesh, embedding themselves into the book, using it to block the endless light purification and melting the effects. But even so, he was still severely injured because the light still could illuminate part of his body. This wasn't the end. This fucking better not be the end. Standing right beneath Grizel's travels, Emperor Rizal, dressed in gorgeous clothes, waiting there with his hands raised. Without second thoughts, Klein could only activate his first method he knew of to protect himself, hiding in the historic void. Boom. A loud thunderclap boomed outside the ruin. It rumbled in the distance in the beginning, but by the end of it, it was ringing in one's ears. Klein, together with his projection in the historical void and all the living beings in the ruins, were awed and turned stiff. Instantly, the sea of light dimmed. But no, there was even a figure that wasn't affected. The concealment angel of the Church of the Evernight. The beautiful but dull-looking lady looked opportunely to face her body, transforming into many symbols that symbolized concealment and terror. She extended that strange world, enveloping Hermes, Renette, Tanker's Suad arm, and the Angel of Fate and Will Augustus the first within. Although Klein had summoned a historical void projection, a watered-down version, some essential parts remained. The chaos that Klein was anticipated was finally here. As for George III and other helpers, such as the King of Angels, they were still in other mausoleums. The moment that nearly transparent world took form, the angels inside began to resist. Amidst the chaos, the strange world easily tore apart. However, with the remnants of the angels' powers being directed, the lady rushed out and headed for the secret mausoleums at the bottom. Boom. An even louder clap of thunder rang out. Emperor Rizal, who had attempted to stop them, was once again awed, unable to make any further attempts. In an instant, the dark and majestic secret mausoleum was hit. The cracks on its surface sank deep, causing its dark interior to present itself. In these rifts, blood appeared out of nowhere. Some were bright red and some were dark red. Boom, boom, boom. Having restored to human form, Klein had held Grizel's travels while collectively launching air cannons, which he scattered worms of spirit. His scattered worms of spirit. The mausoleum, which was already on the verge of collapsing, had finally collapsed. and even more blood gushed out. With the destruction of the mausoleum, George III's advancement ritual was no longer stable. He lacked the key pillars of the support, and he stopped it. If only one mausoleum was under attack, he might have been able to rely on his tremendous connection with them to put up the resistance to a certain degree. But now he had suffered too intense of an attack. His already incorporeal body suddenly bold, unable to maintain his distortion outside. The mausoleum that was isolated from reality finally appeared in front of Trissy. Now Trissy sees it. In reality. Okay? On Trissy's tendril, squirming face, the corners of her mouth curled up. Backland City Memorial Square. My subjects, the stern and old-fashioned George III with his mustache, was finishing his speech when there was a loud explosion. His flesh and blood transformed into... What? He fucking blew up? My subjects, the stern and old-fashioned George III with his mustache was finishing his speech when there was a loud explosion. His flesh and blood transformed into a flurry of fireworks that sprayed into the air. He just popped like a firework. Okay? This is hype. Oh my god, 2 more chapters. Oh my god, these are long chapters. Holy shit. He literally died right before his speech. He's like, my people. Boom. All right, my subjects. Boss. What a way to go out. That was pretty badass. All right, I need to do a phone call. Let me call the missus. I got a missed call. I got a missed call. 2-minute break. 2-minute break. 2-minute break. 2-minute break. 2-minute break. Quick phone call. Woo! Everybody, take a quick 2. Take 2. 2 more chapters? I know, 2 more chapters. 2 more chapters. All right, quick 5. Quick 5. Let me do a quick phone call. I got to call the missus. Hopefully she's not mad. I canceled all my plans today to be with you guys. Because we were with her all weekend, so, you know, like, least we can do is that, you know? One sec. I was fucking doing hand signs over here, man. I was going like, I was doing the but like two, but like Chat, help him. He's losing. I was losing control. I know. We're good. We're backside. We're back. Damn, you know what, bro? What's up, dude? How you guys doing, man? All right. Let's just say we got a little present. The missus got me a present. It was pretty badass. It's pretty cool. She got me a pretty badass present for stream. So, but we'll do that next. We'll do that next stream. Bro, doing the weird ritual. I know. I was doing like a weird ass voodoo ritual. All right, 2 more chapters. Chapter 1149 is called Escape. When Audrey and company below the... I'm sorry. We're cutting to her now? Yeah, so for people not watching... If you guys are watching the VOD, you guys should check out the... No, not a maid dress. Something better. When Audrey and company below the platform saw the scene, it was as if they were admiring a large magic show. For a moment, no one realized what had happened. A few seconds later, the scene started to turn disorderly. Amidst the screams, the king's guards all rushed to the platform. Like, he's fucking gone, dude. The cabinet ministers and the House of Lords of Nobles subconsciously sought a place to hide, or they must understood the courage to follow the guards to check the scene. Audrey looked out in the daze. She wasn't too surprised, but she felt that it was real. If Mr. World paid strong attention to someone, it meant that they were being watched by Mr. Fool, and to date, none of Mr. Fool's goals had failed. This was the will of a deity. In the other municipal square in Backland, Melissa Benson and company also heard the explosion before realizing that the king's speech had come to an abrupt stop. After a moment of silence, the people began to turn rowdily, and they began breaking out in discussion amidst the hushed whispers. Fears of the unknown and fear of the future slowly occupied their hearts. In the outskirts of Backland, inside of the ruins, number 1, George III's mind was a blur. He felt something that couldn't be resisted inside. His body began as a volcano of extreme madness erupted into his mind. It was changing his body while distorting everything around him. It's distorting everything around him? Huh. Instinctively, he saw a huge black throne, once what he was sitting on. He wore an emperor's crown, looking down upon the real world with a great pride. He had reigned over his subjects, and he was equal to his deities. He reached out his hand in an attempt to grab this future, but countless curses and attack of unknown origins kept striking him. It prevented him from touching the future. No. George III's hand, which had faded, hung in midair. His hand. I'm sorry, there's a person earlier in stream called Whose Hand? Whose Arm? Is that a reference to George III? George III's hand, which he had faded, hung in midair, and his consciousness tore apart and his body mutated completely. Trissy, who had been reduced to a blob of flesh and blood, enveloped his shadow and ordered using the countless thick of snake hair. Boom. And the outside world, in the area corresponding to ruin number 1, large amounts of dust were stirred up in the sky and thick smog. Boom. Damn. Oh, wait, let me bring that up. Oh, wait, hold up. I see what you said, Hintinch. Wait, hold up. No politics. I love you guys. I love you. The United States. Everybody's entitled to freedom of speech, but like probably not politics. Let's not get political. Yeah, let's try to not get political, even if that was a joke. I'd say we should probably do zero politics on stream. I've seen enough political YouTubers. It's not pretty. It gets so heated. Even if it's a joke, we'll just chill. Shit, didn't know, Cammy? Thanks for... No, it's okay, Zen. No, you're good. You just didn't know. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Cammy. Yeah. We can talk about low in politics. We can talk about low in politics, but let's not talk about real politics. Politics is so stupid, man. I'm not calling politics stupid, but like, you can say something good, but then bad people don't like that you say something good. You can say something bad, but then good. Like it's so toxic. But I'm not saying everything. It's like it's a balance. Like there's good and bad. Like you know the gist. You know, Grain Act. Like, we can talk about the Grain Act. Yeah, we can talk about the Grain Act. Fuck the Grain Act. Am I right? The Grain Act is good. Wait, the Grain Act was good, but wasn't it George III's plans, right? Who are the good people? You see, that's the thing. You can't even say, exactly. You can't even say who the good people are, because then the bad people are like, but those are the bad people. But like the good people, you guys know it. You're Canadian. You relate to me, right? You relate to me, Wiz. The area became a humongous crater that was connected to the Tussock River, opening up an inlet for the river water to rush in. Rumble. I don't even remember the Grain Act. That was like volume 1, dude. High up in the sky, light skimmed as storm contained immense horror and enveloped the area. Furthermore, away on a mountain peak, 2 figures watched the scene without anyone speaking a word. There were the demoness of unaging Katrina, who was wearing a pure white robe, and the pale hooded red angel Evil Spirit. Now Wiz is French Indian. Are you actually French Indian? That's pretty cool, dude. After 2 seconds, Saintess of White Katrina signed softly and said, wait, I don't know about the French part. The reason we wanted to find her was because Primordial told us that she has strong inclinations towards self-destruction. The fuck? After 2 seconds, Saintess of White Katrina sighed softly and said, the reason we wanted to find her was because Primordial told us that she had a strong inclination towards self-destructing. The Red Angel Evil Spirit listened silently and his expression twisted slightly. I know who interfered with my response. Katrina thought of various answers, but she couldn't be sure. Ultimately, she chose to remain silent. I feel like I skipped something. Katrina thought of various answers, but she couldn't be sure. Ultimately, she chose to remain silent. The Red Angel Evil Spirit slowly said with a word, Evernight. After a pause, he suppressed his emotions and added, otherwise I wouldn't have long found Trissy Cheek. Without waiting for Katrina to respond, the Red Angel Evil Spirit turned around and left. In another ruin, a hint of joy splashed past Klein's eyes when he saw the secret mausoleum collapse and spill out copious amounts of blood. But it was ephemeral. It was ephemeral because he had turned his attention back to his situation. With George III's ritual failing and him not becoming Black Emperor, it meant that his goal had been achieved. What followed next was to escape. All right, that's why the chapter's called Escape. At that moment, using the significant impact caused by the mausoleum's destruction, Renette Tanker followed her agreement with Klein, and she didn't stay any longer. She first entered the spirit world and fled deep inside it. The power she borrowed for herself was coming to an end. The maintenance of a beautiful concealment angel had already reached Klein's limits. After it transformed into Strange World, it naturally disappeared. Damn. Inside the half-collapsed ruin, Klein faced the arm of the Abomination Sua, Hermes from the ancient Phasic Emperor Rizal's projection, Willa Magus's first projection, and the Angel of Light projection, as well as the thunder that pointed to an unknown location. Any one of them had the ability to easily kill them. As for him to summon a historical void projection and the angel level wasn't something that could succeed within a few attempts. Without any hesitation, Klein's body turned incorporeal as he attempted to hide in the historical void. He can hide in the historical void? At this moment, a vortex suddenly appeared in the grayish-white fog in his vision. It made up of a countless transparent maggots that extended out transparent and slippery tentacles. Dude, this is wild. This is so mystical. Zaratul. It was made up of countless transparent maggots that extended out transparent and slippery tentacles. Zaratul's actual body had appeared. He had been waiting in the historical... I'm sorry, it's a shared historical void? He had been waiting in the historical void for Klein. At that moment, Klein's action of entering the historical void could no longer be reversed. Dude, I am rereading the fight. There's so much happening. Don't worry, I'm gonna reread the fight. All he could do was watch helplessly as he was being pulled in by the vortex and thrown into the center. He wanted to snap his fingers and ignite another paper crane, but he realized that no flames could rise up. Why? Having probed him once, Zaratul was confident of his trump card. By relying on his level suppressing him and the authority of mysteries, he made Klein unable to control flames anymore. We were sent a recap of the fight in the artwork, Izugeki. Don't worry. Okay, thank you. I'll look at the pretty pictures to remember the fight. In addition, Klein's intuition told him that the destination... I like pictures. In addition, Klein's intuition told him that the destination after making a teleportation attempt was mysteriously connected to the vortex formed by the transparent maggots. He was unable to escape, nor could he summon enough helpers. However, Beyonders of the Seer Pathway never performed unprepared. That is true. The vortex formed by transparent maggots slowly spun as it received a visit initiated by Klein. The transparent and slippery tentacles swam over in an unstoppable manner. They reached towards him, but they only wrapped around the ancient book covered in a dark-colored skin. The blood of the book's surface hadn't completely faded. Grizel's travels. At the most dangerous moment, Klein pricked his fingers, allowing his blood to flow onto the surface of Grizel's travels. Then, with a whoosh, he entered the book world and temporarily escaped the fatal trap set up by Zaratul. So he's out. The moment he entered the book world, he immediately stretched out his hand and grabbed forward, pulling out a marionette that he had temporarily possessed from the historical void. Hyven Rambus. He had once tested that he could summon the projection of the true history here. After all, it belonged to the Sephirah Castle, and praying to the fool in the book world wasn't obstructed. Of course, if that didn't work, he had other ways to resolve it. He could summon just as Audrey, who existed in the book. Oh, I'm sorry. How? Oh, when there were Hall of Truth, she existed at that point. He could summon just as Audrey, who existed in the book world's history. In short, he needed a emitter high sequence beyonder from the spectator pathway to bring him into the sea of collective subconscious, into the city of miracles Lifsiad, and oh my gosh. Holy shit, you gotta do this to do this. It's like a domino effect, bro. Oh my god. To bring him into the sea of collective subconscious, into the city of miracles Lifsiad, and into the Hall of Truth. This was the essence, so the faster the better. This was because he had no idea how long before Sequence 1 would be able to grasp the secrets of Grizel's travels, much less whether the other party would forcibly descend into the book world. Music change? Bet. Let me know, Cammy. Into the secret world, he could only race against time. Haven Rambus, who was wearing a formal suit and a dark red bow tie, held onto him with a stiff expression. He directly entered the sea collective subconscious and formed the countless shadows. With the power of manipulator, they quickly shuttled through and arrived at the city of miracles. Oh my god, I'm losing my voice. We had to bring out the good bottle for today, right guys? Incoming? Something's coming. With the power of the manipulator, they quickly shuttled through and arrived at the city of miracles, Lifsiad, and seconds appearing before the entrance of the Hall of Truth. Okay, we're in the Hall of Truth. Kyan released the maintenance of his marionette, Hyven Rambus, and under the nudge from the strong winds, he ran through the door. He's going through the door? As he passed through the color murals, his inner voice resounded in the hall. The chances of summoning 008 here should be higher. What? Using it to draw a right at the end of the mural on the left side, it can affect... What the fuck? Can affect the real world. Through its arrangements, I can make Zaratul make a mistake, allowing me to find a safe escape route. No, it's still easier to let Amon's avatar join. It's easier to let Amon's avatar join the battle royal and implicate Zaratul. This will be easier to fulfill. It's no wonder Grizel wants to bait Amon in Backland. The mural on the right represents the book world. I can use 008 to draw another temporary door for me to leave. While flying, Klein's right hand kept grabbing at the void ahead 5 times, 10 times, 20 times. When Klein borrowed strength from his former self, his right hand suddenly sank as he drank out a dull classic quote, 008. And the next second, Klein arrived in front of the huge pillar that was multiple arms span wide. Then he had a clear sense of being worn down by time. It was a throne of the Dragon of Imagination Ankwald. Klein circled around and used a stone pillar and arrived at the end of the mural. He raised the quill 008 and was about to write. What is he going to write? He had never tested for any changes when using 008 and here before, when he was afraid of that it would result in extensive action and alert Amon's brother, making his ploy of preventing George III from becoming the Black Ember to be detected in advance. At this moment, he no longer needed to bother about such matters. Already? He could wholeheartedly weave the development that he needed. Okay, we'll change it. Suddenly 008. That sounds very important. Music change? Bet. Oh, fuck you guys. Oh, fuck you guys. Ah, shit. Go fuck yourself. Fuck you guys. We're playing a beautiful song. Oh, hey. She's about to go down. Let's loop this bitch. This song goes hard, bro. This is such a badass fight. Suddenly 008, which was about... I'm shaking. Suddenly, 008, which was about to begin writing, disappeared. It disappeared before it reached the time limit. What's happening? Klein felt... Oh my god, it's going to write on its own. What's happening? Klein felt alarmed. He then realized... That volume is a little bit loud. Let's lower it. He then realized that his words in the Hall of Truth hadn't been projected. There was silence all around him. While the spirit... Wow, Robinson with the chapter! While his spiritual perception triggered, Klein slowly turned around and saw that the time-worn pillar had turned into a 100-meter tall... What? The time worm pillar had turned into a 300-foot cross at some point in time. In front of the cross was a huge blurry figure standing there, shoulders everything with its back. It was observing all life with compassion. Inside the Hall of Truth, there were rows of high black views, but only one supplicant. The supplicant, with his eyes closed and sat in the middle of the first row, he wore a rather simple... I'm getting hot, bro. He wore a rather simple white robe. Oh, shit, it's Adam. He wore a white robe. Fuck, he knew. He was watching this whole time. He wore a rather simple white robe with a pale golden beard that covered half his face. His hands were clasped on the silver cross in front of his chest as he wrote a genuine and calm look. Adam. Twilight Hermit orders Cherry Kings of Angel Adam. Klein didn't even know when he had arrived. At this moment, Adam looked up, revealing his clear, limpid eyes that resembled a child's. He slowly stood up. I don't want to read the last line. Because I see it's in quotes. Hold up. He slowly stood up, speaking with a calm expression. George Third's death. Oh shit, he's writing on the quill. Why are you guys biting your lips, man? Hold up. Chill. George Third's death was causes Lowen to suffer. Oh shit, war. Klein indirectly helped with the war. George III's death causes Lowen to suffer a heavy blow, unable to sit idle any further. Intis decides to take this opportunity to launch an attack. The war officially develops into a war that seeps through the world. Can you accept such an outcome? Holy shit, dude. Adam was waiting for Klein to stir the war. This war officially develops into a war that sweeps through the world. Holy shit, Klein was a trigger. Klein was a trigger. Holy shit. All right, time's up. 2 hours and 41 minutes. Oh my god, Klein was a fucking trigger for the war. Are you guys ready for the last fucking chapter of this volume? Ooh, dude, I am sweating. Can I accept it? I cannot accept it. What was written, I can't accept it. We're gonna unwrite all this bitch. What is written can be unwritten. Klein has to reach the full, and he's gonna like undo the war. Like, there's no shot, right? Like, with pure coincidental sheer luck, the war was unwritten. The war was erased as if nothing ever happened, right? That has to be what happened. You're not ready? You can read, man. Lost volume. 1,150, man. What a ride. I can't believe I'm reading all this on a Monday night. My girl is going to kick my ass, but she got me a beautiful present, so it was worth it. We're going to go pick it up. So I'm going to be gone for a few minutes because I got to go outside and go grab it. One sec. All right. Chapter 1,150 while we take a break. Chapter 1,150 is called Mad Dash. Although there was no constant of temperature in the Hall of Truth, Klein still felt a chill run down his spine when he heard that. Timestamp? Timestamp. Got it. He felt a wave of heat and he wanted to defend himself. But when he opened his mouth, he didn't know what to say. For a few silent seconds, his figure was reflected in Adam's limpid eyes before he said with a somewhat difficulty, I accept it, but I will try my best to minimize the damage caused by the war in the future so long as I'm still alive. Holy shit. Oh, that is badass, dude. Oh, that is sick. But I will try my best to minimize the damage caused by the war in the future so long as I'm alive. He paused and asked in a deep voice, is this the price you exacted for your bestowment? Back when a certain ascetic here mentioned your true name, you had already noticed that this book had secretly made arrangements. Adam, who was dressed in a simple white robe, didn't respond. He walked towards the mural on his left and stopped in front of one of the murals. He looked up slightly and quietly admired it. On the murals, a bug consisting of goat skin flew up in the clouds and landed in a gigantic claw. After watching for a while, Adam said with a warm voice, you may leave. You may leave? She's not going to do anything to him? Fucking bars, dude. Literally bars. He immediately felt that he had been rejected by the Hall of Truth, the sea of the collective subconscious, of the City of Miracles, and the Book of the World. He involuntarily floated up and flew out of the air. During this process, he saw Adam return to the front of the black fuse, holding the silver cross pendant. He closed his eyes and prayed sincerely to the huge and blurry figure. Adam is chill? He's chill. He's just a chill dude. Sorry, we're bringing back such an old meme. He's such a chill guy, dude. Outside the sea of the collective subconscious, an illusionary door suddenly appeared in the stowed in midair and was connected to the outside world. The world also began to ostracize himself, squeezing him out of the huge color. Suddenly, Klein returned to the real world and returned to the great. So he got kicked out. Bro got rejected by a bug. He got shunned. He got turned down. Suddenly, Klein returned to the real world and returned to the grayish-white fog. He was in a state that he was in prior entering the historical void. Unlike before, he hadn't been locked down by the whirlpool formed by the countless transparent maggots. As for Grizel's travels, which was wrapped around by the slippery tentacles that were almost invisible, it trembled slightly and disappeared into thin air. Without having time to lament over the loss, Klein's thoughts raised and he made a choice almost purely on instinct. He leaped into the grayish-white fog in another direction and hid in a shattered spot of light. This was the so-called historical void. That shattered spot of light. Got it. Klein regretted in the next second because Zarathul's slippery and terrifying tentacles had extended out from the grayish-white fog. Ugh. The countless translucent maggots were no longer formed a spinning whirlpool as they disintegrated into a tidal wave that surged towards him. Zarathul could actually fight in the historical void? This was the suppression effects that the high-level members of the same pathway had against the lowest level ones. A demigod of the same seer pathway was always the best choice for dealing with a seer demigod of a lower sequence. Without any hesitation, he ran through the spots of light and into the... This is so mind-boggling. Without any hesitation, he ran through the spots of light and into the depths of the fog history. Just as his advancement, scenes of the secret mausoleum collapsed, backland suffered an air raid, and the tragic great smog flew behind him. However, the dangerous premonition in the heart didn't weaken at all. Instead, it intensified significantly. He even saw a thick shadow getting closer and closer, covering him. Higher sequence eel. With a tidal wave formed by the transparent maggots and the slippery tentacles, Klein ran as fast as he could, constantly chanting the honorific name of the Evernight. Shut up, she comes. The honorific name of the Evernight goddess, and Jotun in his mind, hoping to be saved. This was the only thing he could do, and she was the only existence that could save him at this moment. Of course, if he knew of Amon's honorific name, he would definitely attempt to provoke this blasphemer. Only by messing things up would he have a chance of surviving. The Rizal's declaration as emperor, the modification of the steam engine, the battle of the violated oath, the White Rose War, the 20-year war flashed past once by him. Oh, because you're going to history. Okay, because you're going through it. It's just flashing by you. Klein realized that his body was being increasingly covered by the shadows and his consciousness was gradually slowing down. He had a feeling that he was having his spirit body threads controlled by Zaratul. At this moment, hounds of Fulgrim ran out of the grayish-white fog. Oh shit, they're gonna help him. At this moment, hounds of Fulgrim ran out of the grayish-white fog, various spots of light. They were covered in the pitch-black short fur, and their eye sockets burning with dark red flames as the corners of their lips extended to the back of their heads. I'm sorry, the sung loop? Yes. The group of monsters, like creatures, the Sephirah Castle keepers, ran past Klein and rushed behind him. He immediately regained his lucidity. Fuck. He cursed himself, his eyes slightly red as he continued running. With his vision blurred, he went from the 5th epoch to the 4th epoch, and from the 4th epoch, oh, I'm sorry, we're going back to the beginning, to the 3rd epoch. The massive shadow that resembled the tidal wave behind him paused for a few seconds. Then it continued searching towards him as if nothing had happened, drowning out the historical voice he had passed through. Klein didn't hold back, and expending his spirituality, he used all his might to run with the light spots that he had split of the fog of history. He ran from the 3rd epoch to the 2nd epoch until he arrived at the lonely fragment of light. Around him was a withered forest and a normal tomb. This was the period of history where giant King Armir buried his parents. As for the tidal wave that... God damn. This shit is... There are so many layers, man. The dogs can come back. I know they're not dead. They're gonna come back. I'm not coping. They're gonna come back. It's okay. I'm lightheaded, man. I'm sweaty. This light is so fucking bright, man. This light is bright. Oh my god. As for tidal wave that formed by Zaratul, it didn't even seem to understand the history well enough. It stopped at some unknown era and didn't manage to catch up. At that moment, Klein's spirituality was almost exhausted. And then Bro, how are we gonna end the volume? Are we getting a cliffhanger? And where the fuck is my fan, dude? At that moment, Klein's spirituality was almost exhausted, and in the fog history, he could only borrow the powers from the current void. But clearly, there was no past projection on himself here, and when his spirituality was exhausted, he would have no choice but to leave the fog of history and return to the real world. When the time came, he would be facing Zaratul again. Phew. Klein exhaled and pulled out another paper crane. He snapped his fingers and lit it. However, after waiting for a few seconds, he failed to see the Snake of Fate Will Obstatin appear. In the historical void, there was no way to use ordinary paper cranes to contact Will. Why? Why hasn't Amon appeared yet? As his thoughts flashed, he could only repeat in Jotun. How is he going to get out of this? He could only repeat in Jotun, the Evernight goddess who stands high in the cosmos and more... Oh my god, we're going to run into the fool. Right? Because we went so far back, we run into the original fool. Eternal then entity, you are also the Lady of Crimson, the Mother Consumer, the Empresses of Misfortune, and the horror mistress of repose. And music changed when you read. He opened the mouth and chanted Mandarin, the Exalted. And horror mistress of repose and silence. After holding out for a few seconds, he suddenly had an idea. Hence, he didn't hesitate to leave the fog of history and return to the real world. And oh shit, I hit my mic. I hit my monitor. Just as his figure appeared and his barbed threads floated in midair, and he was grabbing by a slippery, transparent tentacle. Ew. Some fucking hentai, bro. He's being grabbed by slippery, transparent tentacles. Ew. Oh, hell no. As opposed to him, another figure appeared at the same time. It was the barefoot, linen robe aesthetic leader, Ariana. Based on Klein's ability and the angel level historical projection he had summoned must have disappeared. Therefore, the person who came was undoubtedly the actual body. Bro, what? The Evernight Cloister's Matreon glanced at Klein and instantly he'd vanished under Zaratul's tentacles. This is fucking nasty, man. Klein this is nasty ass shit. Klein entered a concealed world belonging to Ariana. It was nighttime and it was a monstrosity with many ancient buildings erected. There's a huge and holy crimson moon hanging high in the sky. Okay, using the experience gained. I don't know what you're thinking about. What are you guys thinking about? I'm just. Never mind. I'm not gonna elaborate. Thank you. Monastery. After returning to reality, Klein had already distanced himself from Zaratul. Hence, he didn't hesitate to use traveling to directly leave. And having held Zaratul back for a short period of time, Ariana entered a concealed state and left the battlefield. Dude, remember he was running away from Mr. A in Volume 2? This is just even crazier. A terrifying thunderclap boomed as the transparent tentacles that attempted to reach out to where Klein had disappeared suddenly retreated, disappearing along with the actual body. Having teleported to the sea, Klein couldn't be bothered to borrow strength from his past self. He first summoned a paper figurine from the historical void and shook his wrist. Most of the items he had with him had been destroyed when he became a bookmark. It was unknown where he had lost his marionettes, Konus and Uni. Of course, we're almost done. Of course, they might have evaporated under the illumination of an angel red light. The paper figurine burned with scarlet flames. Oh, ow. The paper figurine burned with the scarlet flames as it leaped up into the form of an illusory angel that had layer wings in its back. He embraced himself and removed any traces. Then he activated traveling once again and left the area. Okay, so we escaped. We successfully escaped. In the secret mausoleum in East Chester County, William Augustus I and Queen Mystic Bernadette managed to sense the death of George III, either through the changes in order or via the clairvoyant ability. Oh yeah, she has like clairvoyance. The latter didn't stay any longer. Her body suddenly separated like a collection of soap bubbles that reflected light. Wait. The latter didn't stay any longer. Her body suddenly separated like a collision of soap bubbles. What? That reflected light scattering in all directions before bursting. William Augustus I wasn't in the mood to stop or chase after her, but he didn't feel much pain. He didn't return. Wait, after making a huge detour, Klein, who had used Angel's Embrace 3 times to remove his traces, finally returned to the backland security. It was probably the safest place. He didn't return to the apartment he had Wow, time loop. He didn't return to the apartment he had My God! I'm going crazy. Remember when you read, he opened his mouth and chanted Mandarin. Okay, got it. He didn't return to the apartment he had previously rented. Instead, he found a hotel in Backland Bridge area and got a room. Of course, he didn't forget to change his appearance, height, and temperance. The more ordinary and common his appearance was, the less attention he would garner. After entering the room, Klein endured the mental fatigue and physical injuries he had received and began chanting the honorific name of Sea God Calvatua. One sec, dude. It's getting so late. My night filter's turning on already. Oh man. Sea God Calvatua. He planned to take 4 steps counterclockwise and head above the great fog. He wanted to use his true vision and the real Angel's Embrace to confirm his surroundings and eliminate any latent dangers. Fortunately, Zaratul should have signed a contract with George III, so he can't leave the mausoleum. Bullshit. He's there. He was guarding as he pleases. Otherwise, I would have mostly likely have become his marionette in the chaotic battle. Maybe he already is his marionette. The appearance of him and Abomination Sua exceeded my expectations. Klein heaved a sigh of relief and took 1 step in a counterclockwise manner. He opened his mouth and chanted Mandarin, the Exalted. All right, wait, Cammy, what am I playing? Oh, shit, you were quick, bro. You were quick. All right. He chanted in Mandarin. What am I playing? Oh, I remember you bringing up this song before. I remember this song. All right, I gotta put on both earbuds. He opened his mouth and chanted in Mandarin, the Exalted. Suddenly, Klein's body trembled. His voice came to a halt as he froze on the spot. Let me raise the volume. His halt and he froze on the spot. And his line of sight, if who? Let me kind of hide my. I don't want to read too early. All right, you guys can hear it, right? In his line of sight, a figure had appeared on a chair beside the full body mirror in his room. He was a young man of a medium build, wearing a dark-colored jacket and trousers. He looked like a mixed blood man with loan and ballin roots. This was the marionette that Klein had lost. Winner Uni. Okay. Uni smiled as he faced. What the fuck? Wait, I don't want to read the bottom. Uni smiled as he faced Klein's pair of eyes that can no longer move. I'm sorry, is he being controlled? Don't randomly leave your marionettes around or you will be tracked. As he spoke, he slowly stood up. He casually took out a... As he's... Oh, shit, I disconnected something. Something happened. Something broke. So, okay, I had it wrong the way. As he spoke, he slowly stood up. He casually took out a crystal monocle from his pocket and slowly wore it on his right eye. What a fucking ending. Aman is in chat. What's up, Aman? Holy shit. As he spoke, he casually took out a crystal monocle from his pocket and slowly wore it on his right eye. What a fucking bullshit cliffhanger. End of the 5th volume, Red Priest. I want to keep reading, but I can't keep reading. We got a hard stop. It's late, bro. I got to go to bed in like 2 hours. Oh, shit. Let's do overall thoughts. And look at the artwork, dude. Hold up. Wait. Timestamp. 2:56. 25. All right, we're good. Timestamp. Oh, dude, my heart. It's not late. It's late, man. I can't read. No, hard stop. Hard stop. I can't. No. Hard stop. I gotta edge you guys. All right, hard stop. We're sleep deprived. Yeah, we're gonna hard stop. I'm gonna edge all of you guys. We are stopping. We need to hard stop. Okay, we need to hard stop. It's a Monday night. It's a Monday night, bro. It's a weekday. The week just started. I gotta chill with the sleep. I gotta work on my sleep. I gotta work on my sleep schedule. Let's look at some artwork though. We can look at some artwork. All right, we got a hard stop. I'm gonna edge you guys. We can't keep going. Like we can't. But we can look at artwork. Are you pleasantly surprised, bro? It's not even 8 yet, man. Man, I gotta, dude. I wake up at 5 a.m. now just to work out at the house, man. I had a crazy ass calisthenics thing. What sleep? I need sleep, man. I can't, dude. If I don't sleep, I can't stream. Let's look at artwork though. Let's fucking look at some artwork, dude. How the fuck is Amon? Wait, Amon is in the gray fog. Oh, we got a new badge pack. That's cool. Oh, that's some spicy ass Trissy shit. Hold up, that's badass. All right, let's switch to chat. Wait, wrong one. Oh wait, hold up. Let me put chat on the screen. Give me a sec. Hold up. Let me put you on the screen. Hold up. I got you. Hold up. Oh my god, chat is going by so fast on the top over there. Hold up. Let me put you on the screen. Hold up. I got you guys. I got you. He's in the apartment of Klein, not the Gray Fog. Oh, thank you. He's in the apartment. You're right. He's in his apartment. He didn't go. I thought he went above the Gray Fog when he was doing the honorific name. You're right. Thank you. Oh god, I was tripping out for a sec. Okay. All right, let me put watch and then we're focused live chat. Let me put chat for you guys. Dude, thank you for being a member. I've read this part while prepping for midterms back then, failed an exam because I contained the reading to volume 6. Hey, worth it or what? Was it worth it? Worth it or not? Hold on, I need to lower the volume on my end. This shit is loud now. Oh, that was hype. Let's look at some artwork before we read. I'll send the chapter ranges in general now to know if you want to pin it. Okay, we'll pin it. Hell yeah. It's just explained it. Klein's marionette Uni was always Amon the No, okay, you got me unhinged. You fucking got me. You got me. I actually believed you. I believed you. No, he got him. He said don't leave him like that. All right. Scholar of Yore. That is cool. He's doing like the cinema thing when people are like, yes, absolute cinema. That is such a badass pose, dude. Let me raise the volume a little bit. All right, let's do this. What is this? There are so many people, man. You guys can't blame me for not being able to follow this, man. There were so many things at play here. The giant fucking half-size mountain rabbit. Like, bro, Zara, bro. Oh, my God. You can't blame me for not being able to follow this. Damn, this is crazy. Damn, Trissy is fucking beautiful. Trissy's character grows on me the more I see it, man. This is crazy. Wow. 7 of Swords? What's with the swords? That's crazy. The clock hand that tampers with time. The shadow roams across fate. The embroilment. Oh, I didn't read the whole thing. It's okay. If it was a spoiler, I didn't read it. I already forgot what I read. I didn't read the whole thing. Don't want to get his name. Okay, I didn't read the whole thing. I've seen this one. Yeah, this one was the one that was released during the episodes. Oh, this is what she looked like? Damn. Oh, that's her face cracking? Damn. Damn, look at that smile. Damn, this is badass. What the fuck? Oh, is this Triss's face? Triss? Primordial Demoness? Trissy? Whoa, bro, that is badass. Oh, shit. I can't read this, man, but I'm saying I think it's badass. Yeah, we got the end of Volume 5. Is it not by the end of Volume 5? My bad. No, you're okay. You're okay. Do you accept it? He's like, I do, but I'll do everything in my part to stop it. What a badass line. Wow. That was fucking cool, dude. Down to Fulgrim attacking Zaratul. This is so cool. As Klein running away. This was even scarier, dude, when he was running away from Mr. A, dude. Well, let me tilt my camera just a little bit. By the way, thank you for the people that became members today, man. Can't believe you have less than 100 chapters until you finish. No, we got like 300. Oh, man. Where's the one that lost her eye? Oh, is it this one? Oh, this is one of the ones that lost his eye. Oh. Don't randomly leave your marionettes around. They can be tracked. Oh, shit. Damn. Like, yo, we need a talk, bro. We need to have a talk. I don't like my bro, Adam. And I want to go to war. Let's fucking team up, dude. Let's fucking team up and just take him out. Damn. Oh, that is sick. Look at this. Is like he's like moving a chess piece. Oh, that's so cool. You can see him in the reflection. Oh, that is cool. It's like a certain other light novel that's made in Japan where it's a controversial light novel. But a good guy ends up teaming up with a bad guy. The one that was the presumed bad guy to go up against the bigger bad guy. Oh, this is tight. Is this George III? Look at that stupid little mustache. Zaratul and Adam. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Azik. That's Ariana, right? This is Ariana? Oh, is he holding Grizel's Travels? What's the line? Wait, no, that'd be a spoiler. I can't say it. I'm gonna raise my hand for spoilers. Put your cover your ears while my hands are up for spoilers. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. I was talking about Mushoku Tensei. Mushoku Tensei. Hand down. We're good. Spoiler free now. When next stream? Tomorrow? I'm not reading Lord of Mysteries tomorrow. I will read the author notes. I can do that after we do Eliseed. And I want to watch like another Dunhua trailer or thing. Yeah. All right. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this, dude? He's holding him like a gun, dude. Oh shit. Yeah, don't worry. We'll do author notes tomorrow. I got you guys. This is so funny. Klein and will be like, this is so funny. Have you guys seen The Boys? You know when they're holding the baby, he's like, hey, shoot the lasers. Click on that link for the fan comic that the fight recap. This one? All right, hold up. Let me make sure there's no inappropriate ads. I've had some inappropriate ads pop up on Imager. Let's just be safe. That's a really... Wait, let's save this for tomorrow. Let's save... Whoa, there's so... What the... How many pages is this shit? Okay, we'll look at this tomorrow. We're gonna look at this tomorrow. We'll be like, we'll just title it like basically volume 5 or something. No, we'll look at it tomorrow. That's a pretty... I thought it was gonna be like a short one picture thing, but that one's pretty long. I got you. We'll look at it tomorrow. Because, yeah, we do got to end stream it a bit. But I got you. We'll look at it tomorrow. All right? Yeah, that's a fucking long, funny meme. Oh, look, it's right here. Damn, that's all. We'll look at this. Well, yeah, we'll go through that. Klein and his 600 worms of spirit. Oh, my. Dude, this is like... Dude, I can't even, like, visualize this, bro. I desperately need the Dunkwa. Like, no matter how hard I try to envision this, I can't do it. It's so hard. Full volume, I love it. 10 out of 10. Do you want to see my favorite Lord of the Mysteries pictures? Send them. Wait, we are going to look at them tomorrow once we get to the end, though. Figures of all the full sequences. Dude, I want to buy these. How do I buy these, man? Oh, man. I'm going to cry. Oh, the end of volume 2. Oh, when he's at the train station. Faceless. Oh, this is a cool-ass one. Is it Marinette? Yeah, Marinette. Bizarre Sorcerer. What's with little bun ponytails right here? What is that? I've never seen that before. I want to buy it. How do I buy this? Scholar of Yore. Seer. I like Seer. This one's pretty cool. I gotta buy these. Damn. Oh, those are Fox ears? That 10 out of 10, man. Holy guacamole, man. That was freaking incredible. That, I'll be honest, once I have the video up, I'm gonna go back and listen to myself because, oh, I almost dropped my mic. Because I almost dropped my camera, my mic. I'm definitely gonna go back and re-listen to myself because, man, that was so hard to follow, man. How is that the least complicated angel fight, bro? You're telling me just go, it keeps going up from here? Fox and Asia are related to myths of illusion, weird stuff. Oh, that's cool. Okay. I can see that. Okay. Just like the whole Fox things in Japan, like the Inari Shrine and all that. Okay. I see it. Dude, that was a good volume. I can't believe we're teaming up with Amon. Oh, man. Okay, we're reading volume 6 Wednesday. Yeah, tomorrow, bro, is... Wait, hold up. Thursday. I have the movie theaters. Man, I was gonna go watch the new Tron movie. Hold up. It's not the least complicated. I was joking, but it's on the same level or worse. Fuck. No worries, angel god fights are too abstract, too late. Shit, too late. All right. Man, I think we're gonna end it there, man. I got a hard stop. I need to go eat. It's almost 8 p.m., man. I have not eaten for you guys. I mean, I sped it a little bit, but I didn't have like a full meal. I did it because I love you guys. I almost came here. I came here. I rushed all the way back on low gas. I sped 8, and I didn't even have a full meal. I'm sweaty. I haven't eaten yet, too. All right, you guys got to go eat. We're going to end stream. Hard stop. Look at that. 3 hours and 30 minutes. We did 13 chapters. I think that was a good stream. Because no other mods are here. I know. I'm sorry, Cammy. Well, I think we should make... Who should we make a new mod? Love, I think we're going to make you a new mod, bro. I think you're a new mod, Love. If you would like to take the mantle. When we read volume 6, if you'd like the mantle, you can be mod. Unhinged. Unhinged, you will always be a reserved mod. You will always be like the backup. Damn, wait, what? If you want it, well, we'll see. We'll have a poll. We'll ask everybody. Ending just because class starts for me? Oh yeah, bro, I'll be the new mod. Zen, I think you can be mod. Me, Merlin, you can be mod. Unhinged, you will always be like the reserve, or like when I need that mod. Unhinged can only be mod when no other options are like, no, but he can still be mod. I'll be honest, all of you guys can be mod. I know Unhinged trolls, but he's I know Unhinged is a chill dude. I know from the bottom of his heart he's a chill dude. I know he's just putting on that Gurman Sparrow persona, and if we were in the Hall of Truth, we see the real him. He's an awesome, sincere dude that wouldn't permanently ban people by accident. Don't put up new people as mods in my opinion. Yeah, I know. We'll wait. We have enough mods right now. It's just, I know you guys are all on different time zones, so we switch out. I get it. It's cool. He is acting. Unhinged is just acting. That being said, though, I got a hard stop. I gotta go eat. Tomorrow, we will definitely look at that funny ass comment that's basically the final fight. We'll read author notes. So this is what I'm gonna do. Tuesday, I'm gonna read one chapter of Eliseed. I'm gonna watch like that one Dunkwa thing that username sent me. Maybe the link clip trailer. Just watch another thing. Just to kind of like dip my feet into more stuff, right? See what to watch off stream or on stream and all that. We'll read the volume 5 author notes. We'll read that funny still, and I think that's it. And unless the RI stuff is back, we'll read it on Tuesday. If not, I think we're reading RI on Wednesday. And then, I also need to read a little bit of Shadow Slave. I can do like 30 minutes of Shadow Slave tomorrow, maybe. We'll see, depending on how long stream goes. Did you think about the troll idea I sent you? Oh, I haven't read it yet. No, it was a new one. Sorry for sending this multiple times, but don't forget to check chapter ranges in general. I will. I will. I'll screenshot it right now. I'll keep it on my phone. I keep it bookmarked. All right, guys. Peace. And if I forget, remind me tomorrow, love. You know, you can just DM it to me. Wait, weird. It's weird. I have to like accept DMs now for some reason. That's why I don't see a lot of DMs. I apologize for that. All right, heart stop. Peace. Have an amazing day. Thank you for 50 to like 60. I think we almost hit. What was it, concurrent? I forgot what was the max, but it went pretty up. Are timestamps updated? Are your timestamps updated? Yes, timestamps. Everything's good. Okay. 2 hours 56 minutes was the last timestamp. Overall thoughts. All right. Peace. Have an amazing day. I'm gonna see you guys all tomorrow. Go get some sleep. Go have some coffee if it's morning for you guys. I don't know what you guys' time zones are. I know we're all kind of mixed. 80, I believe. Pray the fool. Bless the fool. All right, guys. Heart stop. Peace. Have an amazing day. Later, guys.